What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what's going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up.
What is going on? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully everybody can hear me. Wake up in Cleveland. It is Monday morning. And as we all know on Monday mornings, life doesn't flow as well for me on Monday mornings. I'm usually swamped all over the entire weekend trying to do stuff, trying to make videos, trying to prepare for this week, shifting things around, trying to make things work properly. And, well, doesn't work the way I want it to. So, pardon the dust as I try to work around things, as I always do. Make sure my volume is up. Make sure the vocals are good. Let me know in the chat if my vocals are good while we just wait for everybody to pop up. Izzy be in the house with the picture quality. There is some picture quality except for the fact that this light right here shouldn't be there. Like I said, it's all about the transparency. There we go. It's all about the transparency here. All right, so, please hold the light. Scratch my throat. So, as I said before, it is always an early day for me on a Monday morning because I have several videos that I need to put out over the next couple of days. And one is, yes, of course, I need to put out the Rain 1 video, which should be being worked out within the next day or so, to be honest with you. I've been working on it. I probably could have done a video this weekend, but I kind of just wanted to use a couple more days before I gave up my final thoughts. Here's the thing about reviews, and this is the thing that always bothers me, which is what I try to avoid, and that is when you are making videos. When you're making videos, it's real easy to kind of get the first product, start testing it, either fall in love with it or hate it, all in the same day. I don't want to do that because all that does is put me into a position that later on people are like, oh, well, you said this, or oh, you said that. I don't want to be that guy. So I make it a point to make sure I get my fake vitamin water sponsorship out here. So I make it a point to, just make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to make sure I know as much about the product as I possibly can before I send out a review. Because trust me when I tell you, you guys are haters. When it comes to videos, you guys are the first ones that are like, well, you said this, and you're all on top of me. And then I got to answer the same question 97 times because people, well, first off, nobody reads comments. So even though there's a comment where I've corrected myself or I put it in the description, you guys don't read it. You have to say it over and over again. So then I take somebody else's comment and I pin that one, like the most popular one. Doesn't matter. You guys still do the same thing. So I just want to try to nip as much in the bud as possible. I'm one person, so I don't have like a team of people replying to all of my YouTube stuff. It just doesn't work that way. So I take my time. So the Rain 1 is sitting right under here. I will probably start that video tomorrow. Just gonna finish up on my notes and then start that video. In the meantime, I have 2 other videos that are gonna go out before then, but hey, I have a rep to protect, as they say. So today we have a very special guest on. We got DJ Chris Karns coming on in just a few minutes. Very, very impressive resume. Very impressive resume out there. So we're going to talk to him. It's going to be a good week. This week is actually jam-packed with people. Jam-packed. We got Chris Karns today, obviously. On Wednesday, we got DJ Caper. She will be on Wednesday afternoon. And on Thursday, we have DJ Ease in the house. So jam-packed weekend. Not weekend. We just finished a weekend. Week. Let's do a couple of shots out before I start rambling about just absolute nonsense out there. Let's do some shout outs real quick. We got, well, starting from the bottom up, we got DJ L35 in the house. We got the Boom Bap Kid, Silent John in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. The ELO Show, Diamond Lee. We got my son, DJ Izzy B, in the house, up early in the morning today. I don't think no, he's up because he has school today. See, we have distance learning here, so everybody has school in the mornings here. So before distance learning, I could just, work, turn on my stuff, start streaming. Now, because of distance learning, because everybody's on their damn Zoom calls, I got to be concerned with bandwidth. I never had to be concerned with bandwidth before. So thank you, Ventura County Unified. I appreciate you for that. And it's not that it's the distance learning. It's the fact that it's like my son goes from 8 to 12. So, okay, there's one window. And then my daughter goes from like 12 to 3. So there's always somebody constantly on my bandwidth. This is my bandwidth. See, they're supposed to be somewhere else. Now I got to go and upgrade bandwidth because of them. And all for what? To learn? What school ever taught you that actually has taken you into the real world? Be honest with me right now. All right, see, like I said, rambling. This is what I do. Real DJ Yoshi in the house. What's going on, fam? J Book. Make sure you follow J Book. That's one of my YouTube partners and Twitch partners, but YouTube is where his name is. So make sure you follow YouTube. Yeah, that's my boy. That's my man. F105 in the house. Good to see you. Steve Castiglione. That's what you're obviously Italian. This right here is my ATEM Mini Pro ISO. It's not a mixer. It's a video mixer. Yeah, but that's what I use. And this is decaf coffee, and this is my vitamin water. All right, what else we got here? DJ Mulberry in the house. What is going on? Northwest Audio, Mike Feliciano, good to see you. Who else we have? Ratbone, that's one of my mods. Thank you for hanging out today, pal. Appreciate you. Did anybody update the Discord to let people know that I'm on? If you can do that, if you haven't done so already. We got DJ Jeff 1, Rico Stees, a black captain in the city. Okay. Black Captain says, haven't seen Chris Karns since the Rain 62 when he did a dope set on DJ City. He's done some stuff after that. I mean, the 62 is kind of an old mixer. But yes, I've seen that video also. As I was doing research on Chris, what I found the funniest was that, first off, DJ City, as dope as they are now, was producing some questionably poor audio videos. That's the one thing I noticed in the beginning for DJ City. Obviously now you look at them, you're like, they're rock stars, everything's perfect. But before, when they were just coming up, sound like me. Who else we got in here? Obviously we got Chris Karns in here. Thank you for hanging out in the chat, fam. Let's see, anybody else? Let's see. Yeah, we'll talk about all of that. All of that we'll talk about. All right. Let's see. DJ Inception, Jumpstarter, Mr. Paradise, DJ Queso. How's it going, man? Nick Storm, Rise and Shine in the Mile High. Colorado's where it's at. SMC in the house. And Prion Joni is in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Make sure you follow Prion Joni. That's another one of my YouTube guys. But just remove the YouTube guy. He's just a dope individual. So make sure you follow him. He's doing some huge things right now on his YouTube channel, where he's breaking down like getting into production, all of these things, and obviously not to mention all of his pioneer videos. If you have any interest in learning about what a lot of these mixers do, like the Pioneer S7, like the Flex 6, like the S11. He's got videos on every one of those products. He's got one on the S7 with the loop MIDI feature, and I'm just gonna call him out right now because To be fair, all we needed was my video. And then he had to come out with a better version of my video. I wasn't too happy about that, Brion. PJ, this is not what we do here, okay? Give me some props. I'm trying to boost up my numbers. By the way, any of you people that are on Twitch right now, that are on YouTube, make sure you are following me. I'm like 300 people, give or take, maybe less now, away from 25K. So that's a big number for me. So make sure that you are following me on all these social media outlets. Okay, so that means my Twitch, my Instagram, and my YouTube. As far as this show is concerned, as far as Wake Up in Cleveland is concerned, this is going to be a Twitch only show. But you know, for people that are larger than life, I like to try to spread them out, at least until I become partner. So that's why it's also airing on YouTube specifically. So, but make sure you are following me on Twitch. Let's take a look at the numbers here. That's good. Okay, so we have 70 on Twitch and 18 on YouTube. Okay, so I like that ratio. It wouldn't hurt to just get the rest of these people, half of those people onto Twitch. I wouldn't complain about that. DJ Divine Justice says, shouts out to the hometown hero, Chris Karns, Mile High DJ Supply. Okay, there we go. That's what we like to see. All right, so I think I've hit Ratbone in the house. The real DJ AK-47 in the house. DJ AK-47, this lovely young lady right here, will be on the show on Monday morning. So same time as now, she'll be on Monday. So make sure you check her out too. Thank you, PJ. I know you're only doing that just to help my my confidence. You're like, we don't want him producing crappy ass Pioneer videos, so let's make sure he feels good. Yeah, man, yours was the best out there. Nobody can touch you. It's okay. I'm good to be critical of myself. It's one of my strengths to be able to be critical of myself. So a couple other things. I'm going to be doing my week 2, which is really week 3. I mean, it bleeds a little bit when you're doing your scratch sessions and scratch practice. I know people have been following it. So I'm going to be doing that one at the end of the week. I made some changes, and we'll talk to Chris about this also, but because of all the products I review, sometimes it can be hard to get into a consistent equipment schedule. You know, like I've shifted everything over. Normally I don't move for controllers. I don't move my DJ setup from underneath this table. I usually just set it up here. But the Rain one felt more like I had to actually use it on my DJ setup. So I moved my DJ setup over to this table over here, which you can't see obviously. And I started working off the Rain one. And the Rain one's a good controller. It's a good scratch controller too, because the platters are good. But I don't know. It just didn't feel as good to me. But use it nonetheless. Did my practice on there nonetheless. I decided if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it the right way. So I pulled out my scratch vinyl and I started working right off of my scratch vinyl. So I am actually practicing, like yesterday, the day before, I spent my time practicing on real vinyl, not DVS, but real vinyl, real needles, real jump, skippity skip scratching to really relax my hands, to really calm down on the aggressive tendencies that I have with my hands, that everybody has, especially if you haven't been using vinyl a long time, because as I said before, DVS, the Rain 12s, CDJs, all of these things are very, very forgiving when you are scratching. You can be heavy-handed and you'll have no idea how heavy-handed you are. So I moved back to vinyl, and that's where I'm going to stay for a little bit. That's where I'm going to stay. I'll go back and forth because there's certain things that I can't do with vinyl right now, just because, you know, my hands just don't want to react that way. I'm still forcing. Izzy B is making jokes right now. Okay. Enough about me. Some people asks, how are you running the Restream Live and Streamlabs Live on top of it? What's your layout? You're just adding in new features. I'm not doing either one. I am using StreamYard, and that's it. I'm not really sure what elements you're seeing from Streamlabs, but no, nothing on here besides StreamYards. Yeah. Okay. All right. Diamond Lee says, I want to hear about Chris's experience with that vodka DJ challenge. That was one of my first introductions to him. Okay, we can talk about that too. And last but not least, we got Kid Cut Up in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Make sure you are following Kid Cut Up. That's my man. He's always doing big things, and more importantly, he's exceptionally creative. So make sure you follow him. Papacito in the house. Thank you so much for the music selection. We'll see how long this lasts, because I'm a little tired of paying for it. So we might be moving over. I'm starting to produce again, starting to produce my own tracks again. So I am going to start just using those. MF says, any cool DJ releases coming from NAMM? Well, we're done with NAMM. So you should kind of know. Twitch app is freezing. I don't know. Nothing I can do about that. Northwest Audio says, I cannot believe how many inspiring streamers tune into this show. I'm starting to feel like a fanboy in here. Hey, you're not the only one. You are not the only one. Okay, so let's shoot over to a commercial, and we're going to bring on the man. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting show. So let's, I forgot about Wildcard from Trinidad and Tobago. Hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you. DJ T-Vap says, just ordered the DJ 1000. I hope to handle the switch from Serato to Rekordbox. Yeah, you won't have any problems. Rekordbox is a great app, honestly. And if all else fails and you just absolutely hate Rekordbox, there's two alternatives that you can use. You can use Virtual DJ and you can use DJ Pro. They both work. Okay. All right, I think we nailed everybody here. All right, so okay. Oh, some people, that's Cobra Arcade Phoenix. Gotcha. So yeah, make sure you follow on Cobra Arcade. Dope people. Fam with Chris Villa too, which we're actually gonna get on the show relatively soon. So it'll be a good time. All right, let's move to this commercial. Frankie Alvarez, what is going on? Chanel B in the house, good to see you. And let's move over to that right now. Okay, guys, sit tight. We're gonna move to the commercial, and then we're gonna be back probably with myself before we introduce Chris Karns. But sit tight, watch the video. See you in a second. Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this. Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this next guest that's coming on, and I'm sure they're going to be dope, but I want to talk to you a little bit about ways to support the channel. You see, there's a lot of work that goes into this channel, and the only way to keep it going, the only way to keep bringing on new people and upgrading the sets and upgrading the intros is by you supporting me. So here's a couple of ways that you can support me, and I'm not sure that a lot of you know this. If you're new to Twitch, you want to look down right here. There's a little subscribe button. That's the easiest way to support me. It's like $5. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If we're at the bar, you're buying me a beer. If you're feeling a little more generous, maybe you want to gift somebody a free sub. If you are a Prime member, you can use your Prime membership. You get one per month. You can use that on me. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you're sitting there on the YouTube side, you can also hit that membership button right there, or you can give me a super chat and then send me off a tip. Look, I know that times are tough, money's tough, and I know that what I'm asking for some of you people might be a little too difficult. So there are other ways that you can help the channel. You can host the stream, share the stream. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, share the stream to everybody. Get the word out. That's the easiest way to help me out, and that doesn't cost you a dime. Those are just a couple of ways that you can do this. I think they're coming back, so I need to get out of here. Just remember what I said. We'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, so once again, we're going to bring on Mr. DJ Chris Karns in the house. He is a DMC champion, a Red Bull champion, a Master of the Mix champion. He's just an all-around champion. The man has been DJing for a long time, so long that he had to change his name, and we'll talk about that also. So let's bring the man on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, put your wake-ups, put your ones in the chat. If you have some Chris Karns emotes, if he's got them, throw those in the chat. Let's bring him on right now. Mr. Chris Karns.
Yo.
What is going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. How's everything going for you?
What up, man? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Your mic sounds good, by the way. So are you using the headphones, or you actually have a microphone there?
Yeah, I'm just using these iPhone headphones.
I will tell you, you are the best sounding wired iPhone headphones that I've had on the show.
Yeah,
like,
sweet.
I'm not hearing anything else. So great job. Great job.
It's quiet in here. It's quiet in here right now.
So my first question is, where are you residing? I saw the Mile High, so obviously you used to reside in Colorado. Are you still in Colorado?
Yeah, I'm up in North Denver. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So so you've always been in Colorado. That's where you reside. Have you moved around, or that's just kind of been your place?
I've been here since all. So this is my home. This is my home for sure.
Now, is it snowing there?
No, not right now. Pretty all right out. Yeah, all the snow's melted.
See, for us, we're just getting our rain. So I'm in California, obviously. So the rain is picking up. We're gonna have a huge season, although still no snow. So does that mean that you are a skier, snowboarder? What's your thing? Any of the two?
Man, music. That's it.
Just
all
music.
I do.
So you're telling me, have you ever skied?
Nope.
You haven't skied, and how long have you been in Colorado?
Well, I blew my knee out before I came to Colorado in '96. So I can barely even walk half the time, but I'm working on that too. And actually that's my goal. I'm getting some, my girlfriend works at Downtown's Healthcare in Denver, and she's getting me some treatment. I'm getting some platelet-rich plasma injections this week in my knee, and hopefully working my way up to like a little stem cell. Then maybe I can actually get back to like doing some things. But that's part of my goal, is that after I get this treatment, I'm going to try and just build my strength up until next winter, and then I'm going to try skiing for the first time.
So you're gonna go to skiing. You're not gonna do snowboarding. Like, skiing is where it's at.
I feel like snowboarding would probably be harder on my knee because you got one leg forward. You know what I mean? I think I could have better balance and better weight distribution if my legs are like facing forward. So that's kind of the reason why I would choose skiing over snowboarding. But
I get you. That
much respect to both,
sense.
though. Shit, I got a lot of friends out here that snowboard. I mean, guys I came up with. I used to hang out with JJ Thomas in high school, and he like won an Olympic bronze medal. Used to party with him over at his house and stuff. I just chatting it up with Louis Vito earlier. So, I got a lot of love for snowboarders, skiers, everybody.
Yeah, I never skied. Basically, when I started doing the snow thing, it was just like, I'm going to snowboard. I skateboarded and things like that, but I was like, I'm not skiing. I'm never going to want to ski. So I just went straight to snowboarding. And it can be hard on your knees. But it's weird too, because I feel like it can be hard on your knees, except when you crash. It's almost, you know what I mean? It's like when you're a skier, when you crash, everything is going every which way. On a snowboard, you just flip around, but you're always kind of on the same thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But hey, whatever works. I'm so surprised. Okay, but you did the tube? Have you done anything in the snow since you've been in Denver? I mean, anything?
No, just hide. Whenever it snows, I just hide, bro. I don't like the snow. I don't like driving in the snow. I don't like shoveling snow. I don't like cold in general. I'm not a big snow fan. I just kind of keep, that's like hibernation time for me when it's like, all right, it's snowing out. Let's get in the lab. I got my freaking got my little heating pad here on the floor. Dude, I like being warm,
you're not kidding. Okay, all right. Fair enough. So this is our first official time talking. However, we have said hi to each other at NAMM when you're always at NAMM and you're always doing your thing. So,
Rip.
But this is our first official. What'd you say?
Rip NAMM. Sorry, man. I wish NAMM was happening this year. This is such a painful. Every time I think about it, it just makes my heart ache. I'm like, fuck. Because I think I've gone to NAMM every year. I think I missed it one year. I missed it because of scheduling conflicts. But other than that, I think I've been there like every other year for the last like 17, 18 years.
Right. Yeah, and I've only been going for the past 3 years, but every year, pretty much you were there. I think, where were you this last year? You were at the
last year. I actually just kind of flew out like last minute. I wasn't even planning on going last year.
Okay.
And then I had an opportunity kind of last minute to get flown out, and so I just went out just to kind of kick it for a minute. And I wasn't doing anything official there last year, but I've worked with Reloop in the past, and Rain is kind of like the first people that I worked with actually was Shure. I was a Shure product endorser way back. I think this was probably my first time going out there was like either 2002 or like 2003. And that was kind of the year that like my first time going out. So I went to all the different DJ companies' booths and introduced myself and was like, hey, I'm doing a showcase at 2:00. If you guys want to come through. And basically, my goal was going out there was like, man, I really want to work with Rain. And I got offers from a lot of the companies that year, but I ended up going with Rain, and I kind of just stuck with them till this day, pretty much.
Gotcha. Yeah, look, when it's all said and done, Rain is an excellent product, and I own a Rain 70. I always tell people, because they're always the first. Every time I do a review on Pioneer, they're like, "Oh, Pioneer lover!" Like, I bought a Rain 70 with my own money. Like, I got 62s in the studio that I purchased because I own a DJ company. So
gotcha.
The majority of the products we use were Rain 62s until the S9 came out. So there you go. See, there you go.
I just got it like 2 days ago. I haven't even tried it yet.
Okay, so
this is the problem though. Because now I got one of these in here too. That I see now. I got choices to make. This is what happens. This is what happens. Like I said, I've been working with Rain for like 16, 17 years, but this is what happens when you just you don't talk to people for enough. It's like, hey. It took me.
I gotta go to the person who's actually looking at me.
I had to, I was, giving them a lot of feedback on the 70, and it took me this long to get one. So it's like,
yeah,
you guys gotta, it works both ways. It's not just me working with you. It's you working with me too. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try this Pioneer. I'm pretty excited about trying out some of the features on it.
You're going to be very, very impressed with the features on it. The S11 is an excellent mixer. The Rain 70 is no slouch. In all honesty, like, I still have the S11 sitting over there on rental, so to speak.
Gotcha. Well, I've been using the 72 since it came out. I helped design that mixer as well, and like, I got everything super dialed in. I got everything mapped over here. Like, I've got it like half mapped to Ableton Live. And map to Serato, and like using controllers. I'm in my comfort zone with this thing. I travel every time I would travel. I bring one with me. Like, and plus the sound quality on the 72 was like a huge step up. But that was like one of the main points of emphasis when I went out there before, while we were in the early design process. That was one of the things that I was like, basically like the way that I put it to him was like this. Because every idea I brought up, they were like, price point though. What about the entry level guys? What about price point? And I was like, yeah. Everybody wants to be Hyundai. Everybody wants to be Honda, but nobody wants to be the Mercedes. Like, where's the pro level DJ gear, you know? And they're like, because they were like, no one's going to pay $2,000 for a mixer. And I'm like, but then like, so that means that the pros have to dumb everything down all the time. There's literally, at the time, there was not one single super pro option for DJ mixers on the market. So I was just like, come on guys, like, make it, if it's expensive and it's not for the entry level, then there's plenty of options. Every other mixer on the market is an option for them. So let's make something for the pros. So I'm really glad that they did it. I don't know how well it worked out for them business wise, but I'm glad I have mine. So,
you know, to be fair. And I said this in my review of the 72. It's a great mixer, but it's not the mixer that you use if you are dabbling, because you have to get in there and you have to learn everything about it to get it to work. Like if you just start using it, things aren't gonna feel where they should be. Because that's my whole thing. Like the effects panel for me, I was like, I don't
it's
like
not
it.
intuitive.
I don't like. No, it's not. And when you start using the S11, then you're gonna go, oh, this is intuitive.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's a great mixer. It's built like a tank.
Yeah.
But that's why I bought the Range 70 way before I had the 72 to test.
Right.
And it's actually just sitting over there. I gotta send it back. But the Range 72, the Range 70 to me is probably the best layout of any Rain mixer they've ever had. So it's a great mixer.
We all have seen, you know, throughout the years, like Pioneer has done an amazing job of taking Rain's ideas and making it, you know, a little bit better. So I assume the same thing for the S11. Of course, you know, it's easy to like make something better when someone already did something first, but hey, you know, as long as it keeps progressing, that's the way I look at it. Is like, I do see like some big name DJs too that are like, you know, that'll bitch sometimes about having too many options, and I'm just like, where are you coming from? Like I've had the same kind of discussion with some of the guys from Serato, where there's some features that I've wanted them to put in for years and I've been begging for. And there's certain things where I'm like, you know, I'm like, even just like, I'll just give one example. Like one example would be, you know, like it used to be when you would hit your cue points, it would color code it in like, or there's an order to colors that naturally exists. It's called a rainbow. Sure. And so like, now it's just every time you hit a button, it's like random colors. And so for me, it's like my brain wants those to be in order. So I have to change the colors every time. And I'm like, why don't you put a little checkbox in there that says like, so you can actually customize pad 1, pad 2, and what colors they're going to be. And now when I was talking to them about it, they were like, if we add all these advanced features that you're talking about, we're going to have to take all kinds of tech support calls and all this stuff. We got to keep it simple for the entry level once again. And I was like, I really don't understand where you guys are coming from, because like, look at, you know, Ableton Live. Ableton Live doesn't cut corners for the entry level. They put unlimited options in there for everybody. And it's the most successful DAW on the planet. Like, it's not like people would stop using it. They could just make the feature something that you can, you know, advanced feature something that you could turn on or off. And if people get confused about it, I mean, that's just the way that it goes. But like, don't hold back the people that really want to like expand and be creative just because the entry level won't be able to hang. I mean, that's just not, that's not fair to us.
No, you're right. And that's probably one of the biggest issues with most things out there, either companies or, you know, or going for training for something. They're always programming and creating for the lowest common denominator. Yeah. And at a certain point, you have to say, you know what, guys, keep up. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. We have entry level. We have a Serato entry level, and then we have the pro level, just like a mixer. But
semi-pro level.
Yeah, that's true. But,
Until they start putting it all in and stop dumbing it down for the entry level. I mean, no offense to anybody who's entry level. You got to start somewhere and take it one step at a time. I'm definitely not trying to say anything bad about anybody who's just getting started at all. I'm just saying for somebody like me that's been at this for 25 years, and like my goal is to constantly add something new. Like if I could add something new every day, I would. But that's why I've gotten into like, you know, creating my own custom controller mappings, and now I've got, you know, so working with people.
You're pulling out XML files and everything. And
well, we're starting to do that. Yeah, I saw my man Divine Justice was in here. Shout out Keith. He's been kind of like my tech guy that we brainstorm on some stuff back and forth. So he's helped me like kind of have some breakthroughs, and I've also been talking with some guys over at Pioneer about some things that we can do about getting a foot switch involved with the S11, that's kind of a necessity for me at this point because I'm so used to trigger. I love being able to trigger the effects with my feet while scratching, so I can just have the effect come in at like on the very last part of the scratch phrase instead of the whole thing, and just making it sound all crazy and messy and shit.
You don't even have that issue with smooth echo and or with ducking. You can now customize all that stuff. You can customize exactly when you want it to come out. So you might not even need the foot switch. Yeah,
that would be dope. Because the ducking thing I thought was a really cool idea, but I could never really get it dialed in the way that I want to. So yeah, I'm gonna dive into it here real soon. But I just had the 72 is so dialed in. I've got like I think I counted the other day because I was like joking around about how like I was thinking about how like you've seen so many memes and like videos go viral over the years of DJs, and then they show the back of the mixer and like nothing is plugged in. And I was like joking around with mine. I think I have like 21 things, like literally 21 things plugged into the back of my mixer. So I was like, okay, I got to figure all this out, including the foot switch.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff, man. But I think that the more you improve, the more you naturally start to add stuff because you've reached your limits on artistry. So you're like, I got to do this. So I get that. Z-Trip is the same way as you, with like all of the extra bells and whistles. You might want to talk to Drew Bach from Pioneer.
That's what I've been talking Thursday. That guy's the man.
Oh, okay.
I love that guy. Like, we had a great call. We had like a 2-hour Zoom call the other day, and it was just great because like, I totally vibe with people like him because like, we have our brains work the same way. It's never like, okay, this is what you've got, and this is the confinements of like what you're allowed to do with it. It's always like, well, what else? Like, what's next? So he knows a lot of that tech nerdy stuff, and he's gonna help me get some HDMI edits happening so we can our HDMI. What a HTML. my brain is so full of info right now, but so he's gonna help me get all the scripts and everything edited so we can start trying to work on some of these ideas I've had. But I mean, shit, it's exciting to see that like there's still new ideas coming out and new stuff progressing. Now let's just keep adding some features, and just at some point hopefully we can maybe if everybody sends a message to Serato asking for more features, maybe they'll understand that like we're not all just out there just trying to just hit cue points and blend.
Like, it's interesting that you would say that because as I have been kind of knee deep in all of the companies, everybody, because I work with everybody because they all send me gear to review. And as I've been in there knee deep with stuff and I'm starting to hear all the things that Serato does and doesn't do, I'm not convinced. They run a very conservative ship over there. I guess that's the nicest way I can say it. Because there's some things that I'm like, well, why don't they just do that? Yeah, they won't do that. What do you mean? They won't. It's like,
trust me.
I feel it's limiting everything.
Yeah, I know. I've been. I think I was in like maybe one of the very first Serato advertisements. I got a flyer here somewhere, and it was like a collage of DJs, and it was like me and like Carl Cox and Steve Aoki, and like I don't even know. This is like 2002, 2003, something like that. So I've been working with them for a long time, and I will say this, of course, like I love Serato, and like I got courted by Native Instruments hard back in the day, like before they signed up Shifty. Yeah, they wanted me. They sent me everything, like, and like I literally couldn't even get it to work at all. Like I couldn't even get like load a song and play a song. I couldn't even play a song. I don't think the sound is amazing at all, actually. And we've done tests head to head. Where I was hanging out with a friend of mine who was a Tractor endorser, and I had Serato, and like we were scratching together, and he was like, dude, how are you able to do those slow cuts? And I was like, well, I've got my threshold turned all the way to 72, all the way to the left, and I've got the key lock turned off. And we were going back and forth, and I mean, you could hear digital artifacts on the Tractor using the Z2 mixer that you could not hear in Serato. So I've seen people do tests like comparing the two. And I've always been like, well, wait a minute. They don't even have their Serato set right to even compare the two. But we did it we definitively just figured out that like Serato definitely sounded better for scratching. And I could even hear it at times where once I like heard and kind of learned what the artifacts of the Tractor sound was, I could walk into a place and if someone was DJing on a Tractor, I would know right away. I'd hear them scratching. I'd be like, wow, that sounds like Tractor. I can do the same thing too. Like if somebody's still using the key lock compared to pitch and time, I can hear the difference because like the audio is not consistent. There's a little bit of a breakup in it. So like once your ear gets trained to like these tiny little like intricacies of the sound and everything, then you can't go back from that. So for me, even like when I hooked up the 72 for the first time, it bugged me out because like the sound quality was so different than what I was even just using from the 62. And like there was certain MP3s that I had for a long time before encoding was like great and everything, that all of a sudden I could hear just how bad they really sounded. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was just amplified. And it took me some time for my ears to adjust to the sound of it. And I'm used to it now, but like it's the same kind of thing. Like if I go back, I can hear the difference between, you know, the 62 sound quality and the 72 sound quality on certain songs, especially on a big system, like if you're playing a festival or something like that. And that was definitely like one thing that I would always, when I'd play these festival shows over the years and I'd bring my 72 and set it up, the sound guys would always come up afterwards, like literally every single time. And they were just like, man, like sound quality, your set sounded better than everybody at the festival. People who were using like, you know, whatever else. So like I said, that was, I don't know. I don't remember the name of the Rane rotary mixer that they made for mixing like house music and stuff like that.
I remember. I know what you're talking about though.
But they put the
I don't
same,
know the name either.
Yeah, the 72 has the same audio capabilities as that, as far as sound quality wise. That was one of the things I was like, put that in there too. Come on, man. Like, don't hold us back. Right. Give us everything.
There's this weird thing about, there's this weird thing. And by the way, shout out to DJ Puffy. I see him in the chat. What's going on, fam? Hey, I've been trying to get you on. So check your DMs, man. Check your DMs on IG. I'm trying to get you on too.
He killed it on Jeff's birthday stream.
Yeah, that was dope. Always killing it. Always killing it.
Oh yeah.
But I think one of the things that for whatever reason, it's like every time there's a scratch mixer, it's a battle mixer. They think that we don't want good sound. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we put this on the CDJ mixer for all the EDM guys. It's like, well, what about us? We play music too. You know, we want good music.
Well, thank goodness we got the 72 and the S11. I don't know what the sound specs are in the S11. I haven't looked into it that deep yet.
Hopefully S11, it's equal. Yeah, it's definitely equal to. It probably sounds. It's probably a cross between the 909 and the V10.
Okay.
Their new Behemoth 6-channel whatever mixer. So that, you know, the sound is amazing on that thing. Yeah. If you want to have a tabletop mixer, it's not for me. But yeah, so the sound is good. Obviously, you know, Rane is known for their sound quality. So I've always known. I think the difference between the two is that Rane always sounds good, but I would say their output is a little colored. Okay. The S11 sounds good, but it's a very flat sound. So you may need to tweak a little more to get it to be that sound that you had with Rane off the bat. But once you get there, they're equal. The sound is really good on it though. You know,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Sure. And at some point you'll actually open up the box of the Rane 70, but it probably won't happen for a long time considering you got that S11 sitting there.
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna hook that up. I'm hooking that up tomorrow for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Mike Feliciano asks, does the 70 have the same quality as the 72? I'm gonna say it's very close. I didn't ask them for actual audio specs, but I've played with both, and I don't hear an issue. I don't hear a difference at all. It's one of the things that, like, even with like the Rane 1, the audio quality coming out of Rane products, they're just known for their audio qualities, and I think they always put in the best possible for the mixers. The 70 has been slightly handicapped by other things. Sound doesn't have to be the issue,
Gotcha.
So so anyway, speaking of, do you use, for a person like you, do you use Silent Echo? Because I'm a big fan of Silent Echo.
I don't think I've even tried Silent Echo yet. Is that like is that a built-in effect?
It's built in on the 70.
Built in on the 70. Yes. Like I said, I haven't even tried it yet.
Yeah, it's on the
72. Took them this long to send me one, bro. What are you guys doing over there? Come on, Rane. Step it up. Don't forget about the people that supported you.
It's funny because I think they're starting to shift more towards that again. I think they might have kind of forgotten a little bit, because I have noticed that they've been, although to be fair, I think their production is the actual production of the mixers, I think they're having a little bit of a hard time because everything that was supposed to come to me, it was all delayed. You know, like even my Rain 70 that I bought, I did a review on them. People were like, how'd you get it? When did Rain send it to you? I'm like, I had to buy this. I pre-ordered this 4 months ago. But like the 72 took them 5 months to send me. The 12s were just as long. The Rain 1 got delayed. I got that after the embargo. So it does happen, you know. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but shipping may not be their strong suit for getting product out right now for whatever reason.
I love Rain still. I mean, I know it's not the same company really anymore since they got bought out, but the new guys that took over, Chris Roman and everybody over there, man, they've been amazing.
They really have been.
Yeah, I actually had like I was playing a show in goddamn, where was I? I was in Alabama, I believe, and and it just wasn't turning on. Like something was messed up. And so I was texting with them and they got me, you know, they kind of gave me some ideas and we literally took apart the mixer. Like the guys working at the thing, they they freaking pit crewed this shit. And we took the whole mixer apart and we basically just took the ribbons, unplugged everything and plugged everything back in. And it's been great since then. And other than that, I had zero problems. I've been like checking it on my flights, you know, like that thing is a tank. It is a tank.
Yeah. They're built to last. And, you know, I still have old versions of the 57, like first generation 57 that are sitting in my warehouse. First off, because I can't sell them. Nobody wants an old ass 57. And 62s. Nobody wants a 62 because they don't work anymore unless you're using old equipment.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I just realized that my girlfriend DJs as well, and I have a setup in her room. We had the 62 in there, and I updated her computer to Catalina, and then I was like, wait a minute,
killed it,
done. Yeah, the mixer's gone now. Like it's put away forever. Like I can't use. And it sucks too because like I had all the 57. I had modded all my 62s to put the 57 faders in it because to me the 57 fader is like still the best fader ever made. I know some people. They would talk shit about the torsion control spring and like and take it out or whatever. I don't understand that. Like I liked having it so it wouldn't bounce and fly around. It still had that smoothness. It was solid. It was made. I had the brackets that were made out of metal like in there, so it wasn't like the plastic ones that would break. They usually were like the unbreakable ones. So I definitely like every time I hook up or I would go up and use that 62 in my girl's room and like scratch on it. I was just like, man, this almost feels too easy. I feel like I'm cheating or something because the fader felt so good. And the 72 one is mad heavy, but I like that about it because then it's like you can scratch on that.
MK2 or MK1?
I'm still on the MK1, so
so
you can put the new faders in there now that with the firmware update. I just haven't hit up Rain to send those over yet.
It's a completely different fader.
Yeah,
you know, the Mac 4. That's the Mac 4. Mac 4, right? I got too many mixers. Yeah, Magvel, Mac 4. I got too many mixers sitting around.
One of them mag faders.
Exactly. But it's a night and day difference between the 4 and the 3. And although I will say I've been partial to the S11 fader this time.
I keep hearing that. My man JFB keeps telling me that. I talked to JFB shout out to JFB. He's one of my favorite DJs on the planet. And like, I talk to him pretty much every day. And during the whole pandemic, we've just been talking nonstop. And like, he swears by those. He's like, you got to try these. You got to try these. So yeah, I felt it. I haven't hooked it up yet, but I felt it. And I was like, oh, smooth.
Yeah. And I don't claim to be, I mean, I'm nowhere near the quality of scratch DJ that you are, but like I noticed immediately because I've been rocking this Rain 1 with the Mac 4 fader in it, and I went and I said, you know, it feels like I'm sloppier than I should be, and I had to like slowly kind of slow down and go, okay, I'm getting the sound I want, but it doesn't sound the same. And I went back yesterday to vinyl and the S11, and sure enough, I was like, oh, there's a sound that my head hears now. You know, for whatever reason, it's just a good fader. You know, no questions at all. DJ Wally Sparks in the house. What's going on, fam? Don't buy an old 62. Please don't do that. Come on, man.
Hey, I got one. Hit me up.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure lots of people have old 62s. I actually have, um, let's see, we have 12 setups, and yeah, and so 6 of them have 62s, 3 of them have S9s, and we have some controllers.
That's it. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm joking.
it's kind of a lot. No,
you got to grow some more arms. You got to grow some extra arms.
Yeah. Well,
Clone
fortunately, well, before quarantine, I had a really successful DJ business where we were doing, 5 to 7 events every Saturday night, bar mitzvahs and weddings, all these things. So it was actually needed. But the funny thing is, we were always trying to push some of the product away. Like, okay, we're done with this. Stop using it. Stop making an excuse for it. Then we hit that, and we had to shut down our office because there's no money coming in. I can't pay $2,000 a month for an office that we're not even using. So we shut it down and moved everything into storage. At that point, we were like, why do we still have this? Why do we have this? So everything was going in the dumpster. We didn't throw the mixers away. We still have them all, but it was like, we actually don't need a lot of this stuff. So we got rid of it. But
I feel you.
We still have some 62s. We still have them, but
I
will never touch another 62.
I got this little setup over here. This is just like to make me happy, but I got my little, I got like an 05 setup over here.
Oh, nice.
And I got these, with the gold needles on them. What y'all know about that? Them shits is hot. And then, these are the, Reloop 7000s. They gave me one of these custom with my name on it, man. That was a super honor for me to get out there and get one of these limited edition ones. And then I got the other ones. Got the limited edition number 666. Don't tell anybody.
Well, you know what? Since you are right there, let's talk a little bit about your needle offsets, because I know a lot of people. Some people do the needle offsets. Some people don't. Tell me why it's important to you. Why it works for you.
All right. Well, the thing is that if you put your Shure N44-7 needles on, those are the only ones that I use, only ones I'm going to use. If you put it on completely straight and you start doing like a basic little back and forth scratch, you'll notice that the head shell goes like this,
right,
causing the needle to skip. So what I do basically is, like, I don't know how easy this is for me to show you guys this, but I do it in a way where the needle is pointing straight at the center of the tone arm right here. Right. So when I go back and forth, you can see there is no sway, not on like fast, slow, whatever. Like it usually would be right around this speed that it would start rocking if you had it straight. That thing is not moving. And so that's why it skips less.
So you shoot that at the back of it. Okay.
Yeah. I have it aiming. So it's almost like you're setting it up. Like you're thinking of it like a straight arm turntable going straight from the center, that center line. So just aim it right down. And then, yeah, basically that's it. I mean, it doesn't rock like that. So I scratch at my friends' houses and whatever, and like they have their shit on straight and it's skipping all over the place on me. I'm like, man, why? But I just got lucky and learned that, from, I think it was like some kind of Scratch Pickles video or something that they did with Shure way back in the day, where they kind of explained that. And they had, it wasn't Bill Needles, it was Greg Needles. Greg Needles was on there explaining it. Shout out to Greg Needles wherever you are, man, and Bill Needles. But yeah, they were explaining exactly why you would do it that way, and like I've just always done it that way because I've seen it over and over again. Like 100% it works for sure. It's not just like for style or whatever.
Yeah, no, I get you. That actually makes a lot of sense. All right, I will be more aggressive, because one of the things, I know this is silly and I shouldn't even be thinking this way, but I'm like, damn, does that thing look ugly that way? But
really?
It works. It works. And that's all of them. But I didn't go as aggressive as you. I know I'm hearing things falling in my house. I didn't go as aggressive. I actually tried to line it up with the tone arm being straight on, then the back. So now I'll go back and make the adjustment.
If you got a straight arm turntable, you don't got to do it like that though. If you're using a straight arm turntable, you don't got to do it that way. But just experiment.
I'm using PLXs. Yeah, the PLX 1000. So
gotcha.
So okay, all right. Well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm looking at the people in the chat. Robster says, yeah, I mount at an angle. DJ Yoshi says, yeah, I do the same thing.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it is. Waddy J in the house. What's going on, fam? Make sure you guys follow Waddy J. That is my man right there. And I believe he will be at one point in the next couple of years. He will be in three style. That's
Sick.
the skill level that he's operating at. So
Much respect.
So let's talk a little bit about. I'm not gonna lie, people out here still love the 62 mixer. I don't have a problem with the 62 mixer. It's a great mixer. I have a problem with the fact that I can't use it because my computer won't run it. That's it.
Here's an interesting thing about the 62 as well is that it's literally the only piece of gear that is a throwback from Serato Scratch Live that could be used on Serato DJ. They just released it right when Serato announced that they were making the change. The reason that they made the change is because they had exclusive hardware contract with Rain on Scratch Live, and they wanted to be able to branch out and work with other companies. So they created a new software, quote unquote new software, is basically the same thing with a different name. And then they and so that was like the only thing. I think Rain had to really fight for that. But as a result, because it was it was originally made for Scratch Live and not for Serato DJ, there's always been all kinds of issues as far as them being able to keep it up to date and working properly. So I think once the Catalina thing happened, it's like they're just basically done supporting it. It had its run. If you're still using the Scratch Live, I don't know about DJ Scene. I don't know if DJ Scene is still using the Scratch Live or if he finally. I know that he's like one of the
finally upgraded.
Okay, he was one of the few people that was still like throwing him back, and I would just like every time I talk to him, I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, there's so many good features, but that guy's a true DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, he actually, I don't know if a lot of people know this. I think there was one year he got second. Maybe I don't know who he got second to. I think he got second in the U.S. to somebody in three style one year, and like nobody really knows this, but like he crushed it for one, but he used no edits. Like, he wanted to keep it more like a pure DJ set, so he was just using all original MP3 files and like cue points and doing everything that he could without editing any of the files. So he was like doing an actual like straight up real DJ set. Not all the transitions weren't all like pre-mapped out and pre-blended and everything else like I did when I did three style. I'm not gonna lie, but shout out to DJ Scene. That guy definitely he's a true DJ.
He really is. Now, let me ask you, because you just talked about mapping things and three style and everything. What's your take on Scratch Bank?
Oh, it's dope.
You use it at all yet?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I use it for sure. Like, I've always kind of had this thing where I worked with a lot of bands and artists and things like that. And I've had so many moments where I like been on stage and then like let's an example would be like when I'm working with the Pretty Lights band and we all have head in-ears in and with crew mics. Everybody in the band has a crew mic and we can all talk to each other during the set, because we're on a huge stage and huge sound system. So that's the only way we can really communicate, which allows us to improvise, and so we could be like, oh yeah, let's do a little improv here. We're going to do this C minor at the end of this song. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go kind of thing. Every once in a while I would hear in my ears, yo, Chris, drop a scratch solo net right now. And like, I wouldn't have anything queued up and I'd be like, oh shit.
Right.
Like nowadays, like, yeah, I'm already ready. It's like, all right, I already know. So I got Scratch Bank. The pad number 1 on my Scratch Bank is the on fresh. And I'm just ready to just cut it up at any moment if anybody ever says that again. So I love that feature for sure.
Gotcha. Scratch Bastard in the house. What's going on,
fam?
Good to see you. Thanks for
hanging
out
today.
today.
Stream was incredible yesterday, man. I watched the whole thing, all 4 hours, whatever. I had it on the whole time. I even left the house to go pick up my kids at one point and left that shit streaming. So much love to the Bastard.
Speaking of Bastard, hold on. Let me just pull something up here because that's what I do.
Oh, I'm hoping one of these days here soon. I've been working hard. I'm about to get another camera and I got my drum kit over here. Got everything all mic'd up and I'm ready to start incorporating this into the streams. So I've always dreamed about us redoing our long train running routine, the video that we did where I was like pad drumming. I've always wanted to do it on the real kit. So one of these days here real soon, we're going to do this on live on the stream. I've already figured out a way in my mind how we can make this happen. So we'll do it in a way where we can perform that hopefully live here on the stream. If he's into it. I haven't convinced him of it yet, but maybe this is the time. You guys put some pressure on him in the chat. Let's go. We got to make a new version of long train running.
Persistence is king with Bastard. All right, so let's here. So let me pull this up real quick so you guys can see this. Just a little clip of speaking of the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch Bass, DJ Vajra, practice session, club set. Let's do it.
Old one. Lack of beards. Yeah. I forgot about this video. Oh, we weren't even advanced enough to have direct audio back then, so we come a long way. Come a long way, Mr. Bastard. Mr. Murphy.
Man. Oh, so it's interesting, you know, as I bring this back real quick. I'm not gonna play anything, but first off, let's talk about 2021 real quick.
Okay.
Let's talk about the angles of the shot. What is this? A GoPro mounted to like a light post shooting down? What do we got going on here?
I don't remember. This is at Paul's old apartment in Toronto, and I'm not really sure what we had going camera wise at that point. I don't think I even owned a camera at that point personally, but
I can tell.
What video is that from? What year is that from? I don't even know.
Oh God, this year. What year is this? Let's see when he posted it. This was 2011. The post anyway.
Wow. Okay. Sick.
Yeah.
What month? Let me see. May. Okay. So that was it was a year I won my world title, or before that happened. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Shout out to the Bastard, man. That dude used to bring me out to Canada for his barbecues and stuff early on, and it was like so much fun, man. I'm so glad that I've gotten to be a part of any of the stuff that he's done or been doing over the years, and just having somebody who's like, I mean, this dude is literally like his brain is like. His brain should be archived as far as because this guy has so much music knowledge. Like he's like a living encyclopedia for music. It's crazy. Like I have trouble even remembering like a song title. Like I can remember notes and the sounds and all that stuff. And like back in the day when it was records and I could see the cover, I would just remember everything like that. But so for me, it's like I'm lucky if I remember the name of the song, and he'll be like, he knows where it was, what studio it was recorded in, who all the musicians that played on the record, like who produced it, what label put it out. He like knows like all these little details about it. It's just like unbelievable to me, man. This dude he's definitely got like a very, very specialized, highly specialized brain, man. So this dude he's definitely like he's a treasure. He's a treasure to the DJ community for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of there was a story about Michael Jackson, and they were saying that he remembers like every take that he ever did, like while he's in the studio. So he'll go, oh, can you go back to take 427 on Tuesday at 3:00? I want to use that for this part of the song. It's like some people just have that brain, where it's just like it works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obviously you're rocking 57. You're rocking the you went old school. I remember those turntables because those turntables were very polarizing to people. Because for whatever reason, the new marks because of the torque. Remember how the torque was so strong that a lot of DJs were angry at the fact that the torque was so strong.
That's crazy to me.
Like a techniques.
That's crazy to me. Like, and I know that like it's funny because I actually kind of gave some people a hard time. Like when I say people, I mean like a couple of the DJ companies that had put out more modern turntables, and then they would put, like a low torque version in there, and I was like, what is this, like the old man switch? Like, what is this? Like, come on. I don't think people really understand, like, and I didn't really understand it either, is that like, and I hear it all the time too, because like I don't really use Technique turntables at all anymore. I use the reloops, and the torque on those is amazing. But what I realized when I started getting used to those is that, you know, just because of the fact that the Techniques, the torque isn't as strong, when you let go of the record, you just kind of automatically throw it ahead just a little bit. You have to for it to come out, you know, sounding in time. And with like the reloop tables, the Newmark, you know, the TTX, which I still have those tables, by the way. And I always love the high torque, you know, because like, I mean, it's better. It's better. I never got that side of it. And I still hear people to this day when I see them, I was watching the stream earlier and this dude was juggling, and I heard the little at the beginning, like when you let it go, you know, and I heard that and I was like, get off those Techniques, son. Like that shit's old, man. That shit's old news, bro. I'm sorry, but like the new shit, like the reloops are the shit. You can't fuck with those tables. Yeah.
So you're using the 8000s, right?
Oh yeah, the MK2, 8000 MK2s for sure.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna take it's gonna take something pretty major for me to stop using those, like for real.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So and you've used them all. So you've probably even used the PLXs, and you're a big fan of those. Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's, you know, aside from the torque being stronger, you have all the buttons on the front. So you've got like, you know, you've got all your, so may as well just show it. I got it right here. So I like to use, you know, these, you can get your loop rolls, your beat jump controls, whatever, your cue points, all that stuff. But one of my favorite things about it, and this is something that like whenever I play on something that doesn't have this, it always fucks me up. Because I'm sure like anybody who's been a touring DJ knows that. How many times have you gotten to a club and they got two Technique turntables there, and you put one of them on +4 and you put the other one on +4?
Yeah.
And you're trying to do a juggle and you're like, what the fuck? And you look at your Serato screen to see what, and like one of them's playing at +2 and the other one's playing at like +9. Right. And it's not even close. Like with these, you got the digital pitch readout, and this shit is so accurate that like you can test it in Serato. Like when you're on +4, you're on +4. So if you're doing doubles and you want to, like, you know, it doesn't get better than that, you know. I don't want to just be guessing and like trying to figure out, oh, is this close? Or these two things lined up? I want to be able to just go, bam, I'm on +4.2 over here. I'm gonna be on 4.2 over here, and you already know this is gonna be, it's gonna match up. So to me, I don't know. They're the best turntables to me that I've ever owned, hands down. It's not even close.
I've been trying to get them to send me a couple, but I'm having some contact problems over at Reloop. So I just got a new contact, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to do it. But I got the mixer, the Elite, and I tested that out. It's a good mixer. It is. Know, it's not my favorite mixer. There's some things about it that I'm just like, I wish it had this, and there was too many of the I wish it had thises to qualify it as like, you know, the other ones. But it's still a good mixer. The Innofader, I like the Innofader a lot. That fader is super buttery smooth. So
it is nice.
No issues with that. Yeah.
I will say this too. One more thing about that I thought about the we were talking about the old man switch and how they had like the old, you know, like you could put on like the classic torque. They had this little knob here for the torque that you can go back to classic if you want to have that Techniques feel. But you know, it's funny because like I didn't even think about this at the time, but like the first time that I went out to the playlist retreat with Jazzy Jeff and everybody was involved with that, and the Bastard, they had a set of reloops set up, and nobody ever was touching them because they're just like, there's something wrong with, like, something's fucked up. And I didn't even think, because I was so overwhelmed with what was happening at the time, that like they must have had it set to classic, and so people were like, what the fuck, these had the torque, something's wrong. And so like to me, it's just like, man, such an unnecessary feature. And I wonder, I mean, that was literally like, you know, 60 of like the dopest DJs on the planet were there at that moment, not using that gear, not getting to see how dope they were, just because they added that one pointless little feature that everybody who used those thought they were trash. But if I didn't think about it till I got home, and I was like, damn, oh shit, that must have been it. So yeah. Well,
it's funny that happened to me on the Rain 12s, because when I first got the MK2s, I naturally, you know, changed the torque to low torque. And who's this guy?
This is my dog, Sully.
Sully?
Something. Yeah, Sully. I know what he wants. It's midday. He's got a schedule. He wants to
So
go.
is he? Oh, he wants to go walk.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what's the temperature like out there right now? Is it 20 degrees?
No, it's like sunny. It's probably like 50 or 40. I don't even know. I've been outside
Okay.
yet.
So is like 40 for you guys? You wearing shorts and a t-shirt?
No, dude.
I always talk to people who are out here and they always try to give us a hard time when I'm like, it's freezing. They're like, it's 50 degrees. That's nothing. I go out in shorts and a tank top. You know, like,
Man.
it still feels cold to me. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you know, everybody's got their thing.
It feels colder. It feels colder like in Cali. If it's 50 degrees in Denver and 50 degrees in Cali, it feels colder in Cali because of the humidity. It like chills you.
Right.
Out here, the air is so dry. So like the extreme temperature, high or low, doesn't really seem to like feel, it doesn't affect you as much really. But yeah, I mean, the weather here is actually like, you know, it's pretty good. Like I say, 3/4 of the year, it's super nice out. And then you have like that other quarter where it's like, you know, you get snow and cold and shit like that. But the rest of the year, it's gorgeous. And like, I mean, you know, we'll get dumped on and it'll be snowy for a couple of days. And then, you know, within a day or two, it'll be like 60 degrees and everyone's walking around in t-shirts and in January. So the weather here is a little erratic, but we get definitely like way more than our fair share of beautiful weather here in Denver for sure. I love it here.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, as you should, even though you don't ski or snowboard yet.
Yeah, no, it's great here, man.
So let's talk a little bit about history wise, because I know that you are a DJ for Pretty Lights, and which is actually funny because I didn't know that. And Pretty Lights has always been one of my favorite. Like you guys did at one point and you may still do it. I don't even know, but you did a whole like mix session. Like every week you do like a almost like a podcast style thing where you'd release like a full compilation. It's all mixed together of like favorite artists, and it's not just Pretty Lights, but it was like
it was like a XM radio or a Sirius, one of those two. It was the hot shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember going, God, this group is dope. And then I heard some actual tracks, and I'm like, okay, you know, they remind me, and it's weird because they jump around a little bit, but they remind me if like Portishead had continued to like keep pushing out music, and I know they do. They're one of my favorite bands. But it's not the same. They release an album every 10, 15 years, but like it kind of reminded me of that. And how did you get involved with them?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because like I used to work at a record store in Boulder for about 6 years, Bart CD seller and record shop. We had like 60,000 new used and new records in our vinyl upstairs area, and downstairs was all CDs. Amazing place. And Derek Vincent Smith, he is Pretty Lights. It's you know, it's a group name, but like it's him. Pretty Lights is him. I used to actually sell him records, and I had no idea who he was or anything like that back in the day. And then so apparently like he thought I was an asshole. I heard that. He never told me that. We've never actually talked about this. And he's one of my best friends, so like I hope this is not. I'm not trying to like say anything, but I guess he thought I was like one of those record store snob dudes or whatever, which I tried not to be. I really tried not to be.
Like Jack Black, you were high.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you know, I was kind of like, basically, I mean, you know, I think it was like 2013 and. A bunch of stuff happened, you know. I did the Master of the Mix thing. I was touring with Yellow Wolf. I did 250 shows that year. I was like,
wow,
between Yellow Wolf shows and touring by myself as well. And like, it was a hectic year. And like, I kind of hit the threshold where I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this like this anymore. And so I quit working with Yellow Wolf, on good terms, of course. Shout out to Yellow Wolf. And I was like, all right, I want to do something else. So I went to my first Pretty Light show at Red Rocks that same year. I had a friend who had just started working with him, and they were like, yeah, we'll get you on the list. You can come check it out. I was like, cool. And I had no idea. Like I had heard the music, but I hadn't like, you know, been like super close, like paying attention. Sure. And so like, you know, I went to the show and I was just blown away by not only just like the quality of the music and the production and everything, but like, you know, it was at Red Rocks, and I'm like standing there and I'm looking out at this, like, if anybody's ever been to Red Rocks, they understand, like, if you've done a show, Yeah, if you've done a show where there's like 13,000 people and you look out and, you know, normally like you look out and it's like a sea of people, you know what I mean? Like the Red Rocks, the stands basically go straight up. So it's not like a sea of people. It's like a tidal wave that's like crashing on top of you. You know what I mean? So it's like it's such a crazy experience. But I was just like looking out at the crowd and I'm watching all the people in the audience and they're all just like bobbing their head, you know? And I was like, and they're having the greatest time ever. And I was like, man, this is a whole scene where kids just want to hear beats. I want to be a part of this. You know, I want to be a part of this. And I was like, you know, I could already hear. I'm like, man, I can hear where I would fit in here. I can hear where I fit in here. So basically, you know, like I started practicing the law of attraction in like 2010. And I just started putting it out to the universe. I was like, I want to work with Pretty Lights. I want to do some shows with Pretty Lights. I want to get in the lab with Pretty Lights. And I would just say that all the time on purpose, trying to like manifest this, you know. Sure. And it took about 6 months. And I got a phone call one day and they were like, hey, you want to go get in the studio with Pretty Lights? And I was like, hell yeah. So I didn't know what to expect. Like, I didn't really know. I had never met the guy. I had never, you know, I didn't know anything about who he was as a person or anything like that. So I show up to the spot. I walk in and it's just me and him. Nobody else in the studio. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, this is what I was kind of thinking. And so we just were brainstorming. We're having so much fun. We're just experimenting. Like, it was just a lot of fun. Like, we were vibing really well. And I was like, bro, we got to do this again, you know? So it was basically, it was like another 6 months after that. And I just kept, that time I had his number. So I just, instead of just putting it out in the universe, I was just texting him constantly, like, let's do some shows. And it was like another 6 months. And he's like, yo, were you serious about that? You want to do some shows? I was like, of course, bro. So like, once I got my foot in the door, man, I wasn't going to let that door close. Like every opportunity I got, they were like, all right, well, you know, we're not sure what we're doing. I'm like, let me get on the next show. I want to do the next one. Let's do this. Let's do that. Cause like closed mouths don't get fed. So I just kept asking for it. And now it's like, you know, regardless, I mean, we're still definitely planning on doing more work together in the future. We talk all the time. And he's definitely like, if I've ever met anybody in my life who's an actual genius, and I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but like the dude is literally like an actual genius, like studies particle physics for fun in his spare time and shit like that. So that is one of my favorite people. Like, not only is he just like an incredible human being, and like, you know, this dude is, I mean, we were headlining some of the biggest festivals in the country and like throwing these huge events, and like never saw one trace of ego, never saw like him talk down to anybody, never saw him lose his cool or composure ever. He's an incredible human being. You know, fans like flocking to him like, yo, Derek. And he's like, hey, Sylvia, John, I met you guys 3 years ago. I'm like, hey, good to see you guys again. And like walking up to like, you know, he had a 33-person crew working for him when we would do shows together, you know, and like I saw him at one point like walk up to the semi truck driver and he's like, oh my God, man, I've been wanting to meet you for so long, man. You know, like this is just the way that like
but sincere. Because you know, there's some people that are like, you know what I'm saying? There's some people that are like, oh, this feels like an act, and there's others where you're like, this is you. And that's really impressive.
He's an amazing human being, man. And I feel super, super fortunate to not only have gotten a chance to work with him, but just to get to know him. And like working with the Pretty Lights band was the most creatively fulfilling project I've ever been a part of, because like it kind of didn't really dawn on me until there was one of the years early on where we played Red Rocks together with the full band. I think we had like an 8 or 9 piece band, and then we had a 13-piece string section from the Colorado Symphony Orchestra playing with us. And at one point they came out and handed me the tour manager, Phil, shout out Phil. He came out and handed me the sheet music, and he was like, well, Chris, you know, this is just a formality because like obviously, you know, you're not playing off sheet music. And I was like, and I started looking through the sheet music, and I realized like I'm the only person on stage that doesn't have a set part right now. And so I was like, all right, okay, well, shit, how should I approach this then? And so there was actually a point during like one of the, you know, super arranged moments with the symphony where something popped in my head, and I was like, oh shit, I think this will work. I'm gonna throw this in. And I just started freestyling, throwing some shit in on top. And I just hear in the crew mics like, oh shit, hell yeah, Chris, keep doing that shit, hell yeah. And in that moment, I was like, all right, I gotta make sure from here on out that I'm freestyling every show. There's got to be pulling out new moments, just like feeling the vibe. So it turned into this thing where it was like, you know, at the beginning, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be digging for samples on stage while we're performing to try and find some brand new stuff that I've never done before and just do it in the moment. Like, this is crazy. This will never work. And it went from like feeling like that till after doing it a couple years where it's like, it just became automatic. So I would just be adding ideas to a crate while we're playing. And then as it would approach time to do the freestyle improv moments, I would get in the crew mic and be like, yo, I got this sample. Let's drop into something like this. And I'm going to drop some strings. And I could just call out changes. And that was like just an incredible feeling. Cause like literally there was not one time ever in like the 7, 8 years that we've been working together that anybody has ever said, hey, Chris, why don't you do this? Or, oh, hey, don't do that. Like, it's literally like, hey, I have an idea. And it's like, cool. Hell yeah, let's try it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So it's unbelievable.
Anything to improve the show, which is that tells you there is no ego. It's just make the show better. That's all we care about. That's fantastic.
It's rare.
I mean, I was just about to say that is super rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to let that one go. So it's like, what the fuck, man?
It's like, please
go. So okay. Well, you know, so you're working with Pretty Lights, and at what point you won DMC in what year?
2011.
2011. Yeah. And so basically, I'm always curious to know what DMC or whatever major win has done to kind of propel you forward. Because I've heard from some people and they're like, yeah, I won, but nothing really changed for me. And then others are like, no, I won. And then all of this. I mean, what happened for you? You know, for anybody that's kind of aspiring to be like a freestyle champion or like DJ Puppy just won, and you know, things move on from there.
Oh, so, yeah.
You know, what happened for you?
Well, you know, I started battling. My first battle was in 1999, and my first time doing DMC was 2000. I went to the national finals 2001, 2, 3, and 4. I got second place in 2003, third place in 2004. I was touring from like 2000, 2007. I was touring with the Percussions, which is a group that was led up by Stro Elliott, who's now part of the Roots.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
We did college radio together. Yep. We did college radio back together in like 1999. I heard his beats. I thought they were incredible. So I basically would just like beg my way into working with them as well. Yeah. Reoccurring theme here, right? But I don't wait for people to ask me shit. It works. Yeah. So, and then I basically got to see the world working with Percussions. You know, they became pretty well known. I think we did 43 shows in France alone in like 2006 or 7. I spent like 4 months over there with them, working with the guys from like C2C and Hocus Pocus and Von Sil and like all those dudes. They did a song with them. The Percussions did a song with Hocus Pocus that ended up blowing up and in France and got Hocus Pocus signed to a major label deal. So, you know, spent all that time doing that. And then when I left the group, I had little kids at home. My kids were babies. And I was like, man, I can't tour anymore. Like I need to stay home, be with my kids. So I spent like the next like 3 years like DJing, you know, doing like 5 nights a week around Denver, doing like little like $100, $150 a night gigs just to kind of keep things rolling. And I got to a point where I was like, man, I'm not happy with this. Like my kids are about to be in school. I miss touring. You know, they're about to be in school for full time in kindergarten. Like I miss touring. Like how can I get back out? And so I think it was like 2010. I just made a commitment that I was like, all right, I'm going to battle again. And I wanted to win and I wanted to, you know, show off my stuff and everything. But I'm definitely like the main motivation for me was like, how can I get back to being able to be on tour and being able to get to travel and do all this stuff and get back into this position. So I figured that would, you know, winning a DMC world title would do that. And so, yeah, I just basically put everything I had into training for that. I was like taking like the B-boy approach. I'm like, I got to have some power moves. I'm gonna be ready. And like, you know, I changed everything about my life during that time. I changed my diet. I changed, you know, also just my mental approach. It used to be like, yeah, I just want to have fun. I just want to like, I'm just happy to be here kind of thing, to being like, I'm not going to doubt myself anymore. I'm not gonna like look at it like that. It's like I'm going in, I'm here to win, bottom line. And if a seed of doubt crept into my mind at any point, I would immediately say the opposite out loud. So I would just start thinking like, oh, I don't know. What if? And like, nope, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna win. This is my year. I'm doing it this year. And I just kept saying that over and over and over and over and over again. I would not allow my mental game was like equally as on point as my DJ game, with the sole purpose of trying to, win that battle. And like, it has to go hand in hand. You can't just be like, saying you're going to do all this and you got to do all that. It's like Steph Curry is like one of my heroes. And like, they asked him, like, there was one game where they thought he lost confidence. He's like, I never lose confidence because I put in the work, and the work has earned me the right to have that confidence at all times. So that's really what it comes down to. You put in the work. You have to have that mental side of it, of believing in yourself as well and not doubting yourself. So if you have the combination of both things, that's the ultimate secret to success, and you can be unstoppable once you achieve that.
Gotcha. Well, no, I think that was perfectly, perfectly said. And as you mentioned, Steph, he's the first one to tell you, I'm not going to make every shot. I assume I'm going to because I put the work in, but this is real life, and sometimes things don't happen. Just like you said, I just throw it out there and I ask people, and some say yes, but probably there are a lot that say no, and you just have to keep on pushing. I mean, I get people all the time that are like, how did you get so-and-so on the show? Or how did you do this? I'm like, I just asked them.
Yes, sir.
And they said yes. That's all we got to work off of is, hey, they only tell you no, if you never ask. You can guarantee a no. See, and he's like, the dog's like, I'm not used to no. I'm used to, it's time to go walk. And we walk. This whole waiting thing is got me twisted right now. So I don't know what's going on. How old is he?
He's 3.5. He's a rescue.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah, he's a rescue.
Oh, nice.
Little Sully.
Nice.
He's a good boy.
Now,
he's a good boy.
You said you have 2 kids?
Yeah, I got 2 kids.
Young, older now? What are their ages?
High school, 14 and 16.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not nice. I have a 14-year-old.
Great.
I love him to death, but he's also kind of a nightmare. In a good way though. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah. I mean, my kids are they're doing great, man. They're easy.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
So now they see dad doing, and I give my son a hard time. He's really, anybody will tell you he's a great kid. Now, but they see dad, and he's DJing. They're 14, 16. So they were around when you won these competitions.
It's funny too. It's a funny story about that too, kind of. But
okay, please tell it.
Well, like, of course, leading up to it, I was like, every day I was practicing and training, and I was just trying to tell them like how important this was. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to London. I'll see you guys when I get back. And then I picked them up from school on the Monday after the weekend, and I came back, and they're like saying, hey, Dad, I'm like normal, everything. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so I was going to see if they said anything about it, but they didn't. So when they came in, we walked into my house, and I had all my prizes lined up, including the gold mixer. Everything was all out on the couch lined up. And my kids walk in, and I'm like, and they're like, oh, my daughter walks over and she's like looking at her reflection in the gold mixer, like, oh, and my dad's like, oh, hey Dad, can I play some video games? I'm like, son, do you realize like what this means? Like, I won the world title. I just got back from London. I won the world championship. He's like, oh, can I play some video games?
Really? Can I go play games?
I thought that was so funny. I was like, yeah, go ahead. It's all good. But
so, and look, it's to be expected. I mean, they were younger. They didn't understand the gravity of right. What you were doing. Have they had any interest now in DJing?
No. No, but my son actually, my daughter, she's like, she dabbles a little bit with playing the violin, and my son, he's really good on the keys. Like I spent some time forcing him to kind of learn some things with that, and like he's got really incredible ear for music, and he actually produces music. He does like these little 8-bit video game remixes.
Nice.
He's got his own SoundCloud page and everything. He's putting out music.
He's one of those guys.
He's got a
one
YouTube
of those guys
page
where my son's like, hey, check this song out, Dad, and it's probably one of his.
Gotcha. Yeah, it could be. he's starting to get noticed by some of the people that he looks up to now. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, nice. You know, it's funny because I mean, my son, he's 14, and I have an 8-year-old and a 22-year-old, 22. But
Nice.
she never took any art. She's not the artist girl. She goes to UC Santa Barbara, and like some people are just the school people. Like, go to school. That's you need to go to school, get your degree, and you're going to be that person that just works in an office or works whatever. That's the way she is. My son is 14. He's pretty much a professional tap dancer, but
Sick.
he's like musically gifted. And
Nice.
so he's been DJing with me now. We do like a father and son on the weekends. We haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but we do that. And just the growth that I've seen him do, because I never forced him to do any type of DJing. It's here. It's available to him if he wanted to use it, but it wasn't like, hey, come be your old man. Like, who wants to do that?
Right.
But I've been doing this whole scratch thing. I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to spend basically a year just, practicing 1 hour a day just to see where it takes me after a full year of dedicating. Because I've always been a DJ, but I never dedicated that part of the skill sets is the scratching part. So
I feel you.
So that's yeah. So that's what I'm like. You know what? I'm old. Like, it's one of those things where you look back, you're like, if I had done this when I was this age, I would be here. It's like, no, I'm doing it now.
Yep.
And let's just see how it is. Because for whatever reason, I get a lot of subscribers on YouTube that are older, and they're like, hey, I just got into DJing, or hey, I just started learning how to scratch, and I really want to take this journey too, because I want to see if it's possible as an older person, relative older person, can you get to a certain level just by using a little discipline. So I've been starting this, and then sure enough, I look to the corner, and then every time I'm not in my studio, I hear my son. He's in here, doing the same thing. And I'm like, but he's a kid. Fulfilling. He's going to get this so much faster than I ever did. And that's the frustrating part, because they absorb things. They're like sponges. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. And you just want your kids to just be happy doing whatever they do. You never want to force them to do anything, they don't want to do. But yeah, Universal Rule says you can do anything, if you put your mind to, no matter how old you are.
It's true.
Well, this is true. And, there are some limitations. It's like, yeah, you can do anything you set your mind to, but, at a certain age, your body is aging. Your hands don't work the way they used to. It's like, it's like anybody can get to a point. Like if I said to myself, I used to do triathlons and I want to get back to it because that's when I was at like my most physically fit. But there came a point where I was doing this one triathlon, and you train for 6 to 9 months, thought everything was good, and I'm competing. I'm doing good for myself. I'm running. I look to my left, and this 75-year-old lady just runs past me like I didn't even exist. And I realized at that point that there are levels to this, and you can get yourself to a very competitive level, but it might be just a competitive level for you. And you might look to somebody else, and they're so much better at whatever it is that you're doing, and you have to go, look, this is where I am, and I got to be comfortable with this. I will keep fighting, keep pushing, but your body can only go so far. I think it's definitely good. It's good to, compare yourselves to other people to a degree. You don't want to get too caught up in that, because we all are walking on different stages of our own personal journeys. We're all walking different paths. And, sometimes I would like be around people like, Z-Trip has been a guy who I met in like 1999. And he's always been one of the people that, like, if I ask him for feedback on something, he keeps it super real, And so he's been kind of like somebody who's kind of like a mentor, or like I consider like a mentor, like a big brother to me in a lot of ways, with a lot of stuff that I would ask him about. So, but like, if I try to compare myself to him and the level of success that he's had, like, I have to just keep it in perspective as like, I met him in 1999 and he was already touring. You know what I mean? Yep. Like he's a few years older than me. He's on a different stage. So it's like, you can't always just do that. You comparing yourself to other people. You also just got to try and
be real with yourself, because like you can't really grow if you think you're the shit and you already think you got it. You're not going to grow like that. You have to be able to like look at where you're actually at, find ways to track your progress, and keep finding a way to just keeps taking it another step up, trying to outdo what you did the day before. Add a new technique to what you're doing, learn something new, practice a little bit more, you know, get a little bit faster, get a little cleaner, everything that you can do to just keep taking those tiny steps. I can say honestly from my own personal perspective, and nobody ever believes me when I say this, but this is the absolute truth, is I'm a slow learner. And I mentioned DJ Scene earlier. You can ask him, like, I keep asking him the same questions over and over again. It's driving him crazy, I'm sure, because like I'm having such a hard time learning just some simple shit. But like, you know, for me, like even like learning a 2-click flare, it took me over a year of constant practice to even be able to do it badly, you know, because like my right hand, I'm a lefty. So like my right hand just did not want to cooperate, but I just like didn't stop, you know, and that was really.
And now it's natural for you.
I mean, it's still hard, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not, some things feel easy, and some things like if you don't practice it all the time, you lose it. But at the same time, like you can always get to where you want to be. You just got to just keep that goal in mind, and like, you know, adjust your goals as they go on. Once you achieve one goal, set another goal even higher. Don't ever be afraid that like the goals that you're setting for yourself are unattainable, because the higher that you set your goals, like even, you know, it's like, what's the saying? Like shoot for the stars, because even you're like shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll end up among the stars. So you got to set your goals high for yourself, and just, you got to hold yourself, you know, look at yourself and judge yourself the same way that you would judge somebody else. Right. That's really the main thing. Is like,
I think a lot of people lack that. They just, you know, they do believe that they are where they need to be and they're at the level that is perfect for them, and they just can't get back and be critical of themselves for whatever reason. You know, more power to them, I guess, if they can live in oblivion, but that's not me. Like,
I remember people telling me back in like 2000, you know, after I started winning like a couple like local battles, I remember people telling me like, you're the best DJ in Denver. And I just remember being so confused by that. Denver? I was like, what does that even mean? Like, why? I don't understand. Like that concept of like being the best DJ in Denver was never something that was ever even in my mind. It was more just like, how can I achieve the best version of myself? And even when I was battling, you know, there was guys like DJ Precision. When I had to go to New York to the US finals in 2011, everybody was like, man, Precision. And I already knew how amazing he was, you know? And so there was certain things where I was like, okay, I got to try and match him in these areas. But it was never about, you know, going into a battle like, I want to be better than this guy. I want to be better than that guy. I'm going to be the best out of all of them. It was more just like, how can I become the best version of myself and just present that, and just let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. I agree with that. And having said that, let's click over to, I don't know if we'll play the whole thing, but I think it's important. And then we'll talk about one thing which we haven't talked about yet. So let's move over here real quick.
All right. I'll be back in 1 sec while you let this play.
Yeah, you do your thing.
Okay, coming up next, we're moving on to the heavyweights.
You know what this is? DJ Vajra. Get your cameras out. Let's go.
Yeah. Word. Yeah. Yeah. Just having fun, I ain't even begun. Yeah.
Tell these clowns make room for the king.
I'm the king.
I wish you could see the crowd in this footage, man. Looks like it's in a closet. There's like 1,500 people at the arena that day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Accidentally hit the power switch.
Hold on, London. I don't think you caught that.
Oops!
Bring that back, Vajra.
Find my spot.
Yeah.
There's only one capable, breaks the unbreakable, melodies unmakeable, matter unexplainable. Whatever I aim at, I line them up. Body is where you feel the pain at. Time is up.
Oh yeah, it ain't over, motherfuckers.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whoever did it.
There it is.
I love the British guy. He was so polite when he said it too.
Oh.
Now
Who's that? DJ Business?
you mentioned
Billy Business?
What'd you say? Yeah. Well, you mentioned that that you messed up on the one part and you lost it. You hit the stop button.
Yeah,
So-
the power switch got turned off.
Yeah.
And I had to find my
So
spot again.
Now the sample that you threw at that point was that in your sampler just in
That was
case
just
something like that
coincidental
happened?
Yeah, it's just coincidental that it just happened at that moment where I was able to still recover, fortunately. But yeah, that was like I hit the power switch. It wasn't. I mean, the set that I did, the version of that set that I did at the U.S. finals was much better performance. But
Okay.
I mean, that was
Well,
that was crazy. Like I said, my mental aspect of where I was at mentally was one of my top priorities. So like, that didn't phase me at all
mhm,
by any means. Like I wasn't like nothing could have in that moment. But
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, there was, like that. I didn't know there were certain things that wasn't prepared for. Well, first of all, they did the preliminaries so they could take the top DJs. So like there was, I think people from 30 countries to start,
Hmm.
and we all did 2-minute sets, and then they took the top 10, I think it was, and then they had us go in opposite order. So I actually volunteered during the prelims. I was like, does anybody mind if I just go first? I don't know. I was like, for whatever reason, I was just like, I just want to do this. Let's go. I'm ready.
Hmm.
And everyone was like, fuck it, go. So I did my set first in the prelim, and then I won the prelims. So I had to go last. So it was like 6 or 7 hours between first set and
Oh,
second set.
wow.
So there was
Okay.
that aspect of it. Also, just the fact that like I went out and I started setting up my stuff. They had 3 sets of turntables out there, but they were like, every time somebody else would start, they were like, you got to get off the stage. So like literally like I didn't even have time to even check to see if my needles were like it was
Mhm.
so rushed. And that was one thing that I was not expecting. I thought I
Interesting.
would have plenty of time, but they were like making us leave the stage and whatever. But it was definitely an amazing experience, because like I remember standing there when I was about to start and I'm looking out and there was like, it's at the Indigo 2, which is part of the O2 Arena in London. And there was 1,500 people there and the whole balcony and the whole floor, everything is packed. And I'm looking at, there's like all these judges on the judging panel, and I'm looking across at all the different people on the panel, and I'm like, man, there's C2C. Like I judged their battle with them in
Hmm.
France and tour with them, all over the place. And there's, the Executioners, and I remember like, them, smoking blunts at my house in Denver, and like back in like whatever. And like, so I was like looking at it and I was just thinking about all the different personal experiences that I had with all these people on the judging panel. And I just like, I really just felt so at like very just calm in that moment,
Hmm.
because I was like, this has to be what it is, because for one, I couldn't envision any other thing happening but winning going into that, but also just thinking back and just like seeing how all those different times it happened and it come together in that one moment. I was like, this is my destiny. This is my fate right now. And I knew that in that moment. So it was very calming
Yeah.
feeling for sure.
And it seems to me like, especially with DMC and probably with freestyle too, it's all you're not. It's it's like you're not attacking to win. You're almost. It's the person that makes the least amount of mistakes in DMC. It feels like, you know what I
Sometimes, yeah.
mean, and
Yeah.
how you recover. But now you were using Serato at the time.
Hmm.
At what point did they move to Serato from DMC? At what point was that allowed?
That was the first year. I'm the first digital champion.
Oh, I see.
And so I
Okay.
took a lot of heat for that. If you look at the
I was
YouTube,
just gonna say that.
go back and
Uh-huh.
look at the old YouTube comments, bro. People were so mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have never
Well, no,
battled again, though.
I did read the YouTube comments, but it's interesting because it's like, yes, you have those people that are like, oh, see, digital, blah, blah, blah. You get a lot of people defending you also, though. Like, no,
Yeah, it's fine.
Chris goes way back. This isn't like something that he just,
Right.
picked up and decided to just start running with.
Yeah.
Now,
I've proven I can use
now,
real vinyl. Like, if anybody has any questions about that, Google me.
well, it's very interesting, and it's funny when you say Google me. It's because we'll talk about that too. But it's very interesting because I mean, I ran into the same thing. Even with like YouTube, it's like I would review products or talk about DJing, and I have a very successful private DJ business, so I can talk about all the things that I know or problems or how to avoid. And people would be flat out, look, I hear what you're saying, but I can't really take you. I can't take you seriously because you're not DJing in front of me right now. DJ TLM, he'll do this or he'll do that, and they're comparing me to all these people. And I'm just like, I don't. I shouldn't need to show you this because my resume speaks for itself. But sometimes you have to. You got to show people so they can believe you and go, okay, he really does know how to DJ or really does know how to do X whatever job you're talking about. But when you say Google me, there's one thing that people need to understand. They can't Google you under Chris Karns. Chris Karns won't necessarily come up with all of your awards,
The old
because
stuff. Yeah.
your old name was Vajra. Now, first off, where did the name come from?
Okay.
And second off, why did you change it?
Well, there was a point in my early beginning times of DJing. I mean, when I first started getting serious about scratching and DJing and stuff like that, I had zero aspirations of trying to be like a professional DJ. I just love scratching, and battling was the forum for showing what you can do. So I had no other aspirations other than just just being able to scratch, just like enjoying, loving scratching. Like it was just about the art of it for me at the beginning. And I had some funny moments. I won a battle in Austin, and some guy was like, "I want to book you for this and that. You got a card?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Get your shit together and then call me," kind of thing. Like right after I had won this battle, and I was just like,
so angry.
He's right. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I should get my shit together. What am I doing? But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I basically, I mean, it just progressed. I mean, over a long period of time, but. Yeah, man. I mean, so with the name change, like I used to always change my name all the time. Like I would just pick, like, there's some people that, like DJ Switch I was talking to yesterday from San Diego. And like, he was, he knew me originally as Samuel L. Scratchin. And one battle that I was in Guitar Center, and like, I was like, all kinds of crazy names. Like I would just change my name. So Vajra was a name that like I just read it in a magazine, and it like said meant lightning in Sanskrit. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I'll be DJ Vajra for a battle. And like I ended up winning that battle. And the next time I was like trying to, do some stuff around town, and people were started trying to book me for stuff. And I was like, oh, book me as DJ Ralph Fader of the Green Party crew. And like just shit like that, just and they were like, no, you got to be Vajra. Everyone knows you as Vajra now. You won. And I was like, oh, really? I guess that's cool.
Right.
And so like I kind of got stuck with this name, and I mean, just over time, like I just hated it. Like that's just to put it bluntly. Like I got to a point where I just hated it. Like I hated saying it. And I would never ever introduce myself as Vajra. Like I can say it now without getting that feeling in my stomach anymore. But like it, if I'd meet people and like, I hated it. Cause like you'd meet random people, be on a plane. Oh, what do you do? I'm a DJ. What's your DJ name?
Yeah.
Vajra. Oh, what does that mean? How do you spell it? Like, where'd you get that? And it turned into like this 15-minute conversation of like,
you're like, I actually just saw it in a book.
I'm just hating this guy. Like
it serves no purpose whatsoever.
So I actually thought about in 2011, I really, really was considering changing my name before that year, but I hadn't fully committed to doing that yet. So that was the last time that I really used that name. And then I regretted not changing it because, like I said, I hated saying it. I hated the name. I had like, strange as it and weird as it sounds, I would have like, people who were like Buddhists and things like that, like confronting me while I was DJing and like, why do you have that name? You're not fucking Buddhist. Like, I had one guy trying to get me to go outside. I'm like, are you a Buddhist? Wait, what? So
well, it's interesting. Well, if you Google Vajra now, there's a YouTube channel that pops up for like this Indian company.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's maybe why you changed it, but
basically, like basically when it came to Master of the Mix, and like I got approached by them. I think they had gotten through all of the audition processes and everything like that, and I wasn't even really aware any of that was even happening. And I got a message from them and asking me if I wanted to be on the show. And I was like, damn, maybe I was like, this is probably a really good opportunity for me to just change my name. So at the time I was touring with Yellow Wolf and Travis Barker. They put out a project together, and, working with Travis, like he was like one of the most inspiring people I've ever been around in the music industry, hands down. Like the guy is like, straight edge, vegan, super focused, family man. Our kids, like we have son and daughter, same age. So he and I just really connected on like a lot of different levels, working together and the work ethic part and everything. And I was just thinking about it. I was just like, man, like, why do I have to have a DJ name? You know, Travis Barker is one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, and he just uses his real name. So I just was like, I'm just going to be me from here on out, and use that as kind of the platform for the switch, which was it ended up working out really well. That was definitely the most exposure I think I've ever got in my DJ career, was being on that show. And so that was cool. And like, also, you know, just meeting random people now, it's like, and they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm a DJ. What's your DJ name? Chris Karns. Cool.
Yeah.
Conversation over. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny though, because at least with Chris Karns, like that's a normal flowing name. Like I tell people, they say, what's your name? I'm like, Cleveland Terry Bowens. And like, Cleveland Terry. Oh, no. What's your name? Cleveland, that's your DJ name. I'm like, no, that's actually my real name. Cleveland's my first name. So, but nice. I did the same thing as you. You know, you jump around with names, especially, you know, I go by Terry. Cleveland's my first name. And I'm like, hey, I was a rapper, producer. I was like, nobody's trying to listen to that, you know? And so it was all these different names. And then finally you get to a certain age and you're just like, it doesn't speak to me anymore, you know? Yeah. And I think that's probably where it is. You're like, you know, I had one time had the name, John 16:4. John 16:4 was a Bible quote, and I just read it one day and I was like, that sounds dope. That's what I'm going to be now. What a horribly stupid name to be called, because now you have to explain this every single time you say your name. I'm like, that's too much. Even though I explain my name right now, but it's just too much work.
No, for real.
So Master of the Mix. So you hop on Master of the Mix, and I'm full disclosure, I don't know what it is. I don't remember that show for the life of me. So when you posted it on your IG, I was like, I would have watched this show. I mean, I watched all the dance shows because I was a b-boy and hip hop guy. So I watched all those. I can't believe I didn't see this show.
They didn't promote it very well.
No, apparently, and it was a big cast. Like, who else was on there? Wasn't
JCO won.
Okay, right. Okay, so but like everybody I saw there, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy. So it's really interesting. So talk about the show a little bit, because it looks like you were jumping around. You did some at home. You did some at the actual venue.
No, we were there the whole time.
Okay, so then did you do a replay of it on your YouTube?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did a couple of them where I redid my sets at home, and then I edited some of the show footage into it, just because like they would cut and they would edit our sets in a way that I just didn't really feel good about. Like, they would make the transitions sound like they were all off, and like they would cut out, like sometimes they would even cut out some of the best parts of the sets, or like I would do a juggle or something, they would like cut it in half. And so I wanted to kind of redo some of those and put them out like that, so people could actually see the whole set, how it really went down. Without they did some weird shit too. Like, there was one, I didn't even realize it at first, and then like, but they actually had somebody, like, there was a scratch part that I did in one of the first couple episodes where they like changed the beat and had somebody else redo the scratches for me. And I was like, why didn't you guys just ask me to do this? Like, I understand if you couldn't use the beat, but like, couldn't you have asked me to do it? Like, there's somebody's wax scratching on here. Like, it passed. And then there was actually one other moment where they edited in audio of a Total Eclipse beat juggle from the season before over some shit that I was doing with a completely different song. Like, it was just, so people are always like, why don't you post all the clips? Why don't you post all the clips? I'm like, I mean, I would if they would have not butchered them. I think there was one whole set for JCO where they literally edited something completely different over his entire set. Like, none of it was anything that he did. It was a shit show, bro. Like, it was just a mess
about that. Like, you can't take my artistic credibility away from me.
Exactly.
Wow.
That show was a mess, dude. Like, I'm like, it was, I mean, there was like, I could go on, and we can't go down this rabbit hole because we'll be here all day. But like, I mean, I got so many things I could say about being on that show. For one, I mean, but the positive things, I'll stick with the positive parts, but like, it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in my career, like, hands down. That was like the biggest challenge ever, because normally they would shoot a show like that over like a 2-month period. And for us, they were trying to cut corners. So they did it in like just over 2 weeks. So we were on set.
You had to come up with original stuff every day. And
every day.
Oh my God.
And like, not only did we have to just come up with sets, but we were super limited with the songs that we were allowed to use, for one. But also there was like, there's, especially earlier on, because there's so many people, they had to limit who was allowed to practice and when. So we would get like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes on the turntables to get ready to perform so it's funny when I will go back and watch it, and like you can see the beginning, everybody's all like super like energized and fresh faced and everything. And as we went on, like we were so, they just rode us into the ground. Like there was one episode where it was like, I had seen it in the past where they had done these remix episodes and they sent everybody home on the previous seasons for 2 weeks and they got to work on their remixes and be in the studio and do whatever. And I was looking forward to that, if that was going to be the case. But what ended up happening with us is like we had the challenge the night before and we were all like sitting there just completely wrecked and exhausted. Like it's like 3:00 in the morning and they're like, all right, guys, you guys get to go back to the hotel. And we're all just like, oh, thank God, and then they're like, but first, pull out your laptops. Everybody grab these stems off this hard drive. And we need all of you. This is 3 a.m. And they're like, we need all of you to have a remix that is finished and ready to be mixed and mastered when we go to the studio at 9 a.m. This is at 3 a.m. after 18-hour day on set. They pulled this on us. So if you watch that episode, you can see I was oily. I was greasy. I didn't sleep. I didn't have time to shower. We were just wrecked.
That's some Puff Daddy making the band nonsense right there.
I doubt they even had that crazy of a schedule. Like literally, like they lost so much money, and I think they ended up going out of business because it was so mismanaged, and they thought that they could cut corners and actually save money, but it ended up like costing them more because all of the camera people and everybody were unionized. So like their overtime pay was just insane. So like they ended up spending more trying to cut corners than they would have if they would have actually just done it
and
the proper way.
Like you had questionable showrunners that they couldn't run the show properly. So
yeah, it was a mess. Like it was a mess. Like no disrespect, like there's people like Kid Capri, obviously, like he's super professional and he did his thing and he's a legend and like I've got nothing but. We had our little clashes on the show and everything like that. And they were, and like I said, I could go on and on. I mean, I got yelled at. Like there was times where they'd be like over the loudspeaker telling me not to talk. And I'm like, how are you going to put a mic in front of me and tell me not to talk? Like if someone's going to say something that's not true about my set, I'm going to defend myself. Bottom line, period. So like, I think at the end of it, like pretty much like the whole everybody like working on the show hated my guts, but all the DJs, I'd say at least all of them except maybe one or two, like they all love me to this day because like they saw that I kept it super, super real. And anytime they tried to push us around or do anything, I was always like, no. You're not going to do that. Like I spoke up every time because it was like, look, just because we're on a TV show doesn't mean that I'm going to let you treat me differently than I would let somebody treat me when I'm not on a camera. Like you got to be kidding me. Like, they're telling me all this stuff. Like you guys, at one point, they actually pulled me aside, and I was standing in front of 5 executive producers from Viacom, and they got me in the side room, and they're like, "Chris, we're drawing a line right now, and you're not allowed to cross this line anymore. You're not allowed to talk back to the host. You're not allowed to talk back to the judges. You're not allowed to do this and that. You should be feeling so grateful that you're here, and all this stuff." And I was like, I waited for them to stop, and I was like, "All right, so let me get this straight. What you guys are saying is you're drawing a line right here, and on this side are the producer gods, and over here are the DJ monkeys. Am I getting this correct?" I was like, well, let me explain something to you. Not a single one of us DJs needs to be here. Every single one of us is professional. Every single one of us has been established since before we got here. So you guys need to understand that we are not just your little pawns or your puppets. We are the stars of the show, and it's time for you guys to start treating us like it. Because they were pulling shit like, not only the long hours thing, but they were intentionally not feeding us at the beginning. And they'd be like, oh, we got food for you guys. And we would go with like the leftover salad bar that the crew had already ate. And there was like little scraps left. Like they were trying to like deprive us of sleep, food, do all that stuff because they wanted to have those reality show breakdown moments like they always try to create. I saw the whole game. I saw exactly what was happening the whole time. And I was just like, you guys aren't going to get shit out of me. But the bottom line was like, I wasn't going to allow any of us to get stepped on while we were there, just on principle of like how you just treat people with basic human decency. You don't get to
Well,
just
there's
treat
always
it like this.
there's always that one guy. I'm like that too. That vocal guy that's like, hey, no, wait. And you're always the one that's like, that's the troublemaker right there. But it's like,
Dude, they hated me.
no, I'm just being honest. You know,
They
it's
hated
like
me.
just
They
because
wanted
I'm
me
on
off
this
the
show.
show. They
I
wanted me
get
off
it.
the show.
I get it.
That's why they
Yeah,
put me in
well,
the bottom. After they put me in the bottom in episode 2, they put me in the bottom 2 with the iPad DJ just to fuck with me. And Kid Capri said something in that moment. They were like when they announced that, I was so mad. Like I was so mad. And I just literally was just the only person I could really think to even take it out on was Kid Capri. Because I'm like, of all people here, like this is the one guy should be not allowing some bullshit like this to happen. So I was just like staring like laser beams at him from across the stage. And he's like, yo, Chris, what's the matter, man? Like, you know, what's the matter, bro? Like, you look like you're upset. And I was like, yeah, I'm upset. Like, you guys just disrespected me. And he's like, yeah, but we all fall flat sometimes. And I'm like, there's no way you can sit here and tell me honestly that I fell flat enough to be in the bottom 2 compared to what we just saw. And he's like, you saw what happened to Total Eclipse. You saw what happened to Revolution, referring to the old seasons. And it dawned on me in that moment. I'm like, they only wanted me to be here because I won a world title, not to make the show seem stronger, but it was so they could try and shit on me, so they could say, "Oh, look at this! He won this world title of this other battle, and he can't even hang
iPad
here."
DJ just beat him.
And yeah, exactly. So I just realized in that moment, I was like, "This is what it's about," and I was like, "This isn't at all." I said it like on stage at this moment. They didn't air any of this, but they were like, I was like, in that moment, I was just like, "This isn't anything at all like what you guys said it was going to be." And they were like, well, it's not what you thought it was going to be, what is it? And I was like, this is garbage. This is straight up garbage. Just said it's, flat in front of everybody on stage. Like we're all standing there together. And I just said it straight up. Like, this is fucking garbage. So, they played off that whole thing. But after that, I already knew I was getting secret information afterwards from people who were working directly with the judges. And like, I knew already the producers were telling them like, get Chris out of here. We can't. Because after that, I came in the next day and I was like, they were like, hey, Chris, we want to pull you aside to do your interview. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And they're like, no, you have to. And I'm like, or what? Or you're going to send me home? Because I really don't want to be here. So that's not a threat at all anymore. So you want to send me home? And then they're like, no, like you have to do this. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to work on my set and you guys are going to leave me the fuck alone. Bottom line, you guys disrespected me and now you don't get to talk to me, period. And so they were like, threatening, like, oh, we're going to change. Like, we'll just take some stuff that you said already and we'll combine it with something else and make it sound like we said. They actually had us go to a psychologist and do mental evaluation before we went in there because they were like, we have to do this because people have gone on reality shows in the past and killed themselves afterwards when they saw how they were getting, portrayed on TV. So we got to make sure that you understand that they're going to lie about you. They're going to cut your words. They're going to like make you look like whatever they want. You're not going to be portrayed how you really are. And so you have to be prepared for this. So I already knew going in, I'm like, this is the game. This is what's going to happen. So at that point, I was just like, I'm not playing this part of the game. I'm here to do the battle and that's it. All this other extra shit, like, you can save it.
If you want to take my old stuff and flip it around and make me look like a bad guy, fine. You got my sound clips. But don't ask me to make my own self look like a bad guy. Like, you're not going to get that from me. You're going to have to do some work.
They tried to feed me lines and shit too and get me to talk shit about everybody. And I was just like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Like, why not? I'm like, JCO's my friend. Why am I going to talk shit about him on TV? Like, I'm not going to do that, period.
It's not a boxing match. It's a competition. We're here to compete from ourselves. And Caper Official in the house, what's going on, girl? She said, they asked her to do it, but she turned it down.
I mean, I'm sure, there was definitely I'm glad I did it. And like, I never improved that much ever in that short of a period of time because like the pressure was always on it. We were always like,
of course,
working. Like you looking around every time you would think you could stop and take a breath, you would look around and everybody else is busting their ass, getting some shit ready. And I was like, man, so it was like boot camp, so I don't regret it, doing it at all, but it was definitely like, there's a lot more to it I could go into. They pulled some really, really, really dirty shit that I'm not even going to talk about because it's like, some personal, they would just try to dig up everything they could and try and use everything against you. And then when I didn't want to talk about it, they tried to use it against me by bringing it up, like right when I was about to go on stage and like trying to get me out of my zone, not realizing that that's not the way that's not the way I work. Someone tries to fuck me up and I'm like, oh really?
Oh, you want me off the show? Well, now I'm about to really kill this shit.
Jesus. Well, that's good to know. I'm actually going to show a clip right now from your post. By the way, for anybody that's asking, this week all-star lineup starting with Chris Karns. We got Caper official. She'll be here on Wednesday, and then we have DJ
Caper.
Ease on Thursday. So dope lineup this week. Make sure you guys hang out. Make sure you guys are here for it. And Professor BX, by the way, we did talk about your that's Drew. We did talk about your your MIDI implementation and the HTML and the MIDI mapping and all that stuff.
Yeah,
we
buddy.
discussed that early on, so you're late to the
Drew.
party there.
You're the man,
all
Drew.
right, so let's go to this little clip real quick. I pulled this from your IG, just to give, if anybody didn't know what Masters of the Mix was, this will give you an indication. Check it out.
I haven't played a Miami club set really ever. Hopefully I have enough memorable moments in my set that I'll be able to get through to the next round.
This Colorado DJ has an eclectic palette including trap and funk. Show some love to Chris Karns!
Yo, Miami. Yo, check this out.
Come on.
One, two, three, four.
About to switch it up, Miami.
I'm in Miami.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Coming, drop it 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 coming. Don't stop, don't stop.
Who is that guy?
I'm OG on and off TVC. I'm OG on and off TVC. I'm OG, I'm OG.
Now that's how you DJ. You played a perfect set, told the story of Miami. I have nothing else to say about it. You did your thing tonight.
One of the best DJ sets I've ever seen in my life. Guess what? It had nothing to do with what you're wearing. I love your black t-shirt, Chris. You murdered it. Well done, man. Thank you.
Miami, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Chris?
You told the whole story about Miami. You captured the essence. Everything we spoke about earlier today driving around town, you put it in your hands. Perfection. Straight up.
What's that, Karns?
I'm getting used to being up on these tables. Like, it feels real comfortable now. It's like I'm in my own bedroom, so I can just let loose and just be me now.
Amazing.
Y'all give more love to Chris Karns?
I feel like I'm moving on to the next round.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
by the way, great set. Obviously, it was definitely edited down, and
yeah.
It's almost like you wish that there were like DJs that were involved in the edits, because
I know.
you know there's a lot of ways that you can make that edit sound a lot more fluid than they did, and it just felt like it was really, really choppy. Now we all know that it's not choppy from your mix. That's never going to happen. But it's very interesting. Now the guy that came onto the stage? Was that one of those dirty plants to try to get you off your game?
No, I think it said on the.
Chris, we lost you.
Phone call.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't understand this thing on the phone. I hit do not disturb and calls still come in. I don't know how to like keep calls from coming in while I'm doing stuff on my phone.
Was it a family member or a friend?
Yeah, it's my
if
dad.
they're in your context, you have to turn that one off too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Luther Campbell Jr. That was Luke's son.
Oh, nice.
Luke Skywalker's son. He came up and introduced himself beforehand. So that was one of the things too. Like I mentioned, I knew after I kind of stopped cooperating with the producers of the show after episode 2, I knew for a fact that they wanted me gone. And for whatever reason, that made me want to stay even more. I was like, oh, now they want me. Well, now I want to be here. Now that I know they hate me, this is great. But yeah, basically, like he wasn't one of those people. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of crazy. That was an incredible feeling, like I did not expect. I wasn't really ever expecting any type of reaction. I was just kind of focused on what I was doing, and they would kind of like, maybe sometimes they would let us know at the end of the day what the next challenge was going to be. So I know that they told us the night before tomorrow's Miami challenge, and I was just like, like, of course I knew all the music. It's just that I had never done like a specifically like all Miami set before. So I got on the phone right when I got back to the hotel, and I called my man DJ Jones, who's like a master of DJing, and out here in Denver, he's like the OG. And I was like, bro, well, if you were going to play a set in Miami, what is the go-tos, And I did some Googling or whatever, started putting the set together. I had a couple little ideas in mind that I kind of want, like already stuff I would do in the club, like the Calle Ocho into the Gloria Estefan into the Enrique Iglesias, and that whole thing was stuff I would do in the club already. And it worked out because Ben Madahi, one of the judges, he was actually one of the people responsible for putting out that Tonight, Enrique Iglesias Tonight song. So that's why he got super hyped. So like everything just kind of just fell into place. And then like as we were sitting, they would make us all put our computers away. So like so nobody would have an unfair advantage. So we would all be in the back watching everybody's sets. And as soon as the set was done, they would cut it. Like we weren't allowed to hear what the judges' feedback was out of fairness, so we would be like, oh, they didn't like that one. Okay, I'm gonna change mine, kind of thing. So all of our stuff was put away. And I remember I was just like sitting back there at one point, and I was like, and the left and the right, to the left to the right thing kind of popped in my head, and I was like, damn, should I just go for that? Let me try it. So I literally we would have like 2 minutes to set up when it was our turn. So I ran up there and I was like trying to set the cue points as fast as I could, and just trying to like do the math in my head, like, okay, if I start on this side, now how am I gonna make this work? And that was like, so that was like the first time I didn't practice that, didn't do anything. I was just like, I'm just going to go for it. Cause like literally if anything like that popped in there was even one challenge where like I was going to do something and somebody else did it first. And I couldn't take my computer out to change it. So I just knew in my head, I'm like, I'm going to have to find something. I'm going to flip this around and not just, just stick to the script and end up shooting myself in the foot because I went with like the exact plan. I did that in the 3 style. I think one time. Actually, you know what? I've never ever seen footage from this battle, but it was shout out to my man Fisher Price because I was checking him out earlier. And we were out in Dallas I was out in Dallas for this 3 style regional, and I had to go second to last in the battle. And coming into it, I had 8 different versions of my sets put together because I wanted to make sure that if anybody did anything similar, that I was not going to do that. I was going to change course. So as the night was going, there was just more and more and more stuff that kept happening that like I was going to do in my set. And I was like, damn, now I got to take this out. I got to take that out. And I was like on stage and the guy before me did something else too. And I was just like, okay, all right, you know what? I'm just going to I'm taking all that other stuff out and I'm just going to just do what I do. And like, I even told the guy running the timer, because I know that I've seen in the past where someone would get done with their set and there would still be like a minute left. And then people were like, ooh, they didn't use all their time, they lose, kind of thing. And I was like, all right, I have no idea how long the set is going to be now because I'm about to do a ton of improv stuff in it. So I told the guy running the thing, I was like, hey, look, if you could do me a favor, like it'll be obvious when it's the end of my set. So if you could just take the time off the screen. He's like, for you, man, I do it. He didn't do it, but I asked. So I go out and I'm doing my set, and there was even a point where I was like about to drop into this like Lil Wayne 6 foot, 7 foot, and I'm like, oh shit, someone just did that, and I'm like I pulled the song off of my desktop and put it and imported into Serato for the first time and dropped it within like 10 seconds, and I was just like, you know, this is some real DJ shit. Fuck everything else, like. But it was crazy because like I've never seen footage of it, but like that probably that was one of my all time favorite battle moments at Trees in Dallas that year. Z-Trip was one of the judges. But just the fact that I was like, you know, improvising, and then like even there was a point where in the set where I had a juggle that I had all planned and it wasn't working with the crowd, and so I just started improvising some patterns. No idea what they were to this day, but I just remember everything. Like literally, like from the moment the set started, and it was also they had those mirror turntables with the mirrors on top that Red Bull used to do.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like the worst shit ever, you know. Like and so in my mind, I'm like watching from the crowd. I'm like, you're so disconnected. So like to start my set for that, when I walked, all I did was just walk out in front of the turntables and put my hands up, you know, so they could see me. Like I wanted them to at least see me before I started, and people started cheering right away, and I was like, wow, okay, that worked. But like as that set went on and on, like the energy level in the crowd just kept going up and up and up and up. And by the time I hit my finale, it was like literally like hitting a grand slam to win the World Series type crowd reaction. Everyone was just like losing their minds. And I walked out to the front of the stage and like put my hands up like, yeah. And I was like taking bows and like blowing kisses to the judges and doing the whole thing. I turned back around and I look at the screen and it's like 137, 136. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, well, I'm gonna pull out one more thing. Fuck it. Like, and I started going and the host was like, yo, that's it. You're done, bro. You don't got to do anything else. Just stop kind of thing. And so I was like, man, but so pulled that one out. But I was definitely, I wish if anybody, Scuba Steve, Red Bull, like anybody from Dallas, anybody has footage of that, please. I've never seen footage, but it was like far and away, like one of my favorite battle moments ever.
All right. So, I don't want to keep you forever because I know you got stuff to do. Are you planning on streaming, by the way?
Man, I might just go in and just start streaming right when we're done. So I got everything set up and ready to hit go live. So
perfect.
It's my birthday.
I was just about to say that. I don't know if anybody knew that, but today is Chris Karns' birthday. And we're not going to ask him how old he is. I just had my birthday on the 18th. So I get it. I was last Monday. But yeah, it's a very interesting time. You had your birthday. So you missed quarantine last year. So this is your first quarantine birthday. And it was a little different for me this year because last year on my birthday I was in Dallas actually, and this year I'm at home and I did a 12-hour stream just because. But it's a little different because it's just you and you can't go out anywhere.
I've never announced my birthday online ever until this year, by the way, too. So like, that's one thing that's different.
You kind of have
to. Every other year, I'm just like, oh my God, if my phone goes off, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna turn my phone off for the day and hide. So I'm
the same way. I was never a birthday guy. Like my wife's she's like, it's my birthday, and it's like her birthday is September 27th. September 1st kicks in. She's like, no, it's my birthday, like the entire month. So, but I've never been that person. I shy away from birthdays. But yeah, you know, this year it's okay to get a little love, you know. So it's another year, man. But you've made it. So
I'm glad to be here.
Exactly. So you've reached another milestone. You've gotten to your birthday. Question for you, and then we'll try to, you know, move on. We'll let you get set up for your show. Where do you see yourself heading? You know, once we're out of quarantine, once we're out of this, where is Chris Karns? Where is the vision board for you?
Well, that's a good question. So I've kind of only really gotten into the streaming thing over the last couple of months. I'm sure maybe people did, or maybe some people didn't notice, but like I kind of disappeared to start the pandemic. I've really focused the vast majority of my creative energy on trying to learn how to make, you know, my own original music that I enjoy. Like that's been a hard thing to do. It's like one thing to make music. It's another thing to make music that you feel like lives up to your own standard of quality, that music that you would listen to. So I've been like really, 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 really focused on that, studying. Like I watch masterclass episodes every day for a year. I'm like nonstop tutorials, practicing, working on stuff. So I made I finished an album last April that I'm currently in talks with the label right now about putting this out. They asked if I had more music. I sent them 64 more tracks of original music. So I've got basically like, you know, couple albums, like 10 EPs lined up.
Nice.
I've got a house music project that I started. I'm considering putting out under a different name. That I've got 14 tracks for, and it's like there's some really, really good stuff in there. I've been going through that a lot lately, so really, I mean, where I'm trying to go is like, yeah, I'm still obviously going to keep DJing. I love the craft and the art of DJing, and I've been getting way back more into that lately. But my overall goal and my focus is to continue to just put out a lot of this original music that I've made and continue to establish myself as a musician and an artist. And you know, and my goals, you know, since I said law of attraction is the main thing for me, I'm just going to, you know, I'll put this out here for everyone to hear. And this has been something I've been putting out a lot, but like kind of one of my main goals is that I want to be able to find like a lyricist or a songwriter or somebody or a team that I can be a part of, kind of along the lines of like a Gnarls Barkley or like you know, something along those lines where I can team up with somebody that I can create like a whole project with on a like a major label type scale. That's my goal. Is it's been my goal for a long time, is like I want to work on the highest level of the music in the music industry. So I've been very fortunate, you know, to work with some you know, Grammy nominated, Grammy award winning artists, and have a lot of relationships with a lot of people, and just like this continuing to just kind of take those steps and find artists that I can work with as far as being able to take some of this music and take some of these beats and turn them into full composed and arranged pieces of music.
Well, I was gonna ask you, did Pretty Lights influence you, or at least push you over the edge of like, you know what, it's time for me to start getting into these things. This is what I really want to do in the beginning. You know, did they help push you over that? Seeing what they were doing, seeing the shows and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I put out I did this Red Bull Music Labs thing back a long time ago, and it was taught by Bass Nectar before he was a scumbag. And you know, I would say shout out to Bass Nectar, but having daughters and having a daughter and teenage girls in my home, no respect for that. But I did, you know, learn some things from him in that class. I learned how to make beats on Reason. I put out an album called The Required Taste with a rapper named Othello, who now goes by Oze Moore. So I had put out an album, you know, and had weird label difficulties, but before I was working with Pretty Lights. But yeah, like when I started working with Pretty Lights, you know, even when I was touring with Yellow Wolf, like he was doing stuff working in Logic, and I was just like, I had been using Reason, so I was like, what's a VST? How does MIDI work? Like, I didn't understand any of that. I was just like, I don't fucking know any of this. So I just made a commitment to learning it. And when I started working with Pretty Lights, yeah, he was kind enough to, I played him some stuff, and he's like, pull up these sessions. Let me see what you got going on. And he would like, you know, put on the headphones and be like, oh, try doing some stuff like this. And like, you know, he's one of the most brilliant music arrangers out there, period. And anybody who's gotten the chance to work with him, everybody knows, like, it's so obvious when you're behind closed doors with a guy. Like, he's an absolute genius. And like, if you listen to his compositions and his arrangements and his songs and his stuff, that, you know, when he would tell me, why don't you try doing something like this and do that? And I'm like, you make it sound so easy, you know, but it's just not for everybody else. For the average person, it's not as easy. So yeah, he's definitely like, I'll make beats, and he's one of the first people I send it to every time. Check this out. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Gotcha. So he gives me feedback, and definitely like, oh yeah, he's super inspiring. We had a 2-hour phone call the other day, and it was just literally just like brainstorming on ideas. Like, I'm brainstorming on stuff that he was working on, and he's brainstorming on stuff that I'm working on. And
sorry, I'm looking at Arabian Prince. What's
Arabian
up,
Prince?
Talking about Propellerhead says something new dropping. Shh, come on.
I still have Reason. I got the new one. I use it as a plugin with Ableton now, but I'm Ableton all the way.
Yeah, I was always an Ableton guy. Well, actually, prior to Ableton, I've been through all of them. I was a Cubase guy, then I moved over to Pro Tools. You know, with MPCs, 2000s, all that stuff. Then I moved over to Ableton, and now I'm doing some content for Serato Studio. So I've been using them a lot, but Ableton is still is the way if you're trying to do anything large scale where you don't need limits to get in your way. Ableton's the one. It really is. Like I actually like Serato Studio. It's limited. That's all.
I want to mention this real quick while we got Arabian Prince in here, by the way. One of the, if anybody who's checked out my streams, like I've definitely gotten a lot of a good feedback. People are like, damn, shit looks crazy. And you're doing all these wild effects and like, and listen to that. And like, you have Arabian Prince to thank for that. He definitely here's the computer that he put together. He's got his company, the Goats. So anybody out there, if you're looking to step up your streaming game and you're looking for a PC, hit up the Arabian Prince. This is the guy to talk to. I know he's gotten a lot of DJs. A lot of your favorite DJs who are doing some of the dopest streams have been working with him. So just it's definitely not a secret.
Yeah,
you're looking to up your game on the computer level, and you want to get into that world. Hit up Arabian Prince. He did an amazing job. Like this thing is like, I went all the way, and I was like, I want the top tier because like I didn't want to be trying to just do the basic level stuff and then be like, now I have this other idea. Oh, but I can't do it because I don't have the hardware. So I just was like, fuck it. I'm going all the way. I'm going to make the investment and at least like keep the creative options open moving forward. So shout out Arabian Prince. Thank you so much, man, for everything you've done for me. You've been a godsend in my life. Thank you. Plus, it's like amazing. Like it's like the craziest like bragging rights ever. Yeah. You're like, yo, someone from NWA built my computer. Like I never would have ever thought I would say that in my life. That's just fucking awesome.
That's true. That's very, very true. We're gonna have him on the show. I'm gonna try to set it up for February to get him on the show and talk a little bit about that. But yeah, doing some amazing work, and I'm gonna assume that nowadays, this is the time to really push the whole streaming capable computers, and you're gonna get a lot of people that are like, I need something. I didn't think I would need it, but I actually need it. Real DJ Yoshi in the house saying, did you beta Ableton 11 yet? So look, here's my only problem with Ableton. I am tired of spending on upgrades. It drives me nuts. That's the one thing I can't stand about it. I almost dropped out of Ableton. So I was on 9, right? And then 10 came out, and I had, I guess, reached my endpoint for upgrades, and it was like $400. It was still on discount, but it was still a lot of money. I'm like, you know what? I guess I'm done. And then I accidentally upgraded to Catalina at the time when 9, I shouldn't have, and because I hadn't used it in a while, I tried to open it up, and it was like, nope. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm no longer using Ableton. Quarantine hit, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, guys, you can get 10 for $200. I was like, all right, I'll buy it. But now 11's coming out, and they're trying to charge me again. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired of paying.
I feel you. I pre-ordered it the moment that they made it available, and I did see the email the other day about the beta, and like, like, do I really want to use it when there's still shit that we're like, I don't need to be a beta tester for this. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I'm not really focusing on producing music at the moment anyway, because I've been so caught up with this live streaming stuff. So
yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
wait.
where it is right now. Yeah, I don't have an artist discount, Yoshi. So yeah.
Me neither. I just bought it. I don't pirate anything, right, man. Like I support. I want to have that karma behind me, and it's like I work in the music industry. I want to get paid for the work that I do. I don't want people, being able to like take advantage of me. So yeah, I've always looked at it as like, if I had an opportunity to buy a ticket to somebody's show, I would buy a ticket. I don't have any pirated software, no pirated plugins, nothing. I got to support the industry I'm a part of.
I think at a certain point, especially when you're younger, it's a cost issue, so people pirate. But at a certain point, when you start making any type of money for what you're doing, it's time to start paying for licensed software. And that's just facts. I get it. When you're 17, you're like, I just want to see what it feels like. I understand that. But once you're making money, it's a write-off. So might as well use it.
No, I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
So, all right. So look, man, like I said, I've kept you for a while. I do want to get you on so you can start streaming, and then we'll raid into you. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you for coming on, man. This was a great show, and I dig your honesty. I dig, what you're doing, and no, honestly, because
too honest
sometimes. You know what? I guess the reason why I'm connecting with you is because I get the same thing. You're just too honest, and you potentially burn some bridges because they just don't understand where you're coming from.
Real recognize real. So
exactly. So I respect you and I appreciate you on that one. Everybody in the chat, throw the wake up emotes in the chat if you felt this interview. If you have some Chris Karns emotes, throw those in there. If you don't have any, throw your favorite emote in there. Let's get some love in here for Chris Karns. It is his birthday. So how many times are you gonna see that? I'm only interviewing people on their birthdays now. That's all I'm doing. Just to make it a point.
Nice.
So what we're gonna do here is so we're gonna sign you off and go ahead and pop on your stream. How much time do you think you need?
I mean, I'm about to I can click the button and then it'll probably just, take a minute or two to wash my hands or something. But it's going to be running like the moment we're done. I'm hitting go live. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well then, so go ahead and head over there. Once again, thank you so much. We'll chat a little while later. Appreciate you. And, we're going to raid you. So hop on off.
Thank you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Chris Karns. All right. Peace out. All right. That was a fantastic. Let me get some music on in the background here. Fantastic show. I appreciate Chris. I feel like I'm a little loud here. Appreciate Chris. It was a great show. Like I said, I like when people are real, and that's what I want on the show. I want people to be honest with what they're doing, what they've experienced, what they've seen, because I think that's the kind of insight I think people want to see when they're on the show. So Chris, dope. As I said before, I got Caper on Wednesday. I got DJ Ease on Thursday. Monday we're bringing in a local girl, DJ AK47, because she's just dope and I love what she's doing, so I wanted to bring her on. A lot of people lately have started to ask me to be on the show, and well, I don't mind people asking. A lot of times it's like, hey, I do this and I do that. I think this will be really good for your show. And sometimes I feel like people don't understand what I'm trying to do on the show. It's not just about bringing people on because they can sell something. That's not at all what this show is about. This show is about three things. One, providing valuable information to the community. Two, if I see something that's dope and I just think that it would be of value to the people, then I will ask those people on. So they're not necessarily going to be, the huge Scratch Bastards or the Puffies or, the Chris Karns or the Z-Trips, even though those are great to have on. I just want people on that are trying to make a difference, or that are doing something dope. That's what I do. Like I brought on Brandon Duke, the DJ. A lot of people didn't know him, but I just thought he was dope. I just wanted, I want to share what I think is dope out there. So that's the way. I'm not in it to try to push somebody else's career forward just because of that. We should be reciprocating. So DJ Kluby says, what about UK guests? I've had UK guests on. I had Mojax on, I had TLM, I had SK on. So I'm not partial to any one region. I just want the best possible guests on the show. So that's the thing. Lovesick says, is that the thing you keep touching is a streaming dock? If you're talking about this guy, which I don't think I've touched too much today, this is my A10 Mini Pro. Actually, the A10 Mini Pro ISO. Love this thing. This is what I use to switch between, camera angles and all that stuff. But yeah, I use StreamYards and this for this. If I'm DJing directly, I go right through my ISO. So let's take a look to see who is the next guest. Did you really just ask who is the next guest? Look right there. Yeah. And then, yeah, this is a trackpad. If you're wondering about this guy, this is a Apple trackpad, one of the best trackpads in existence. But DJ E's literally just won DMC. So I really want to get him on early enough. Yeah, so it should be great. Let me check to see where Chris Karns is. Looks like he is live now. Visual vinyl and t-shirt giveaway. I bet you he's not even giving away a shirt. He probably just hasn't updated his stream information. Always update your stream information. I'm sure mine is wrong right now because I don't think I updated it. Anyway, all right. So let's move on to that man. Let me pull up my Twitch page so I can do this raid. There we go. All right, y'all. So when we get in there, what I want to see from everybody in there, you know the drill. You get in there, you throw my emotes in, you give some love to Chris Karns because, all these people are doing it out of the kindness of their heart. There's nothing in it for them. So I appreciate them. Twitch's handle, just stay on the channel because when we do this raid, we're raiding right into Chris's handle. So you'll be able to follow him right then and there. So make sure everybody that's in here hits that follow button, hit that subscribe button, take care of the man. It's his birthday. You got to take care of him on his birthday, right? So let's start up this raid. And like I said before, I don't want to see anybody not on this raid, which I know some people, for whatever reason, you guys don't want to be on certain raids. You just don't want to do the raid. I don't understand that. It doesn't cost you any money to get on a raid and be transferred over. But some people are like that. Like, see right now, I have, what do we got on here right now? 111 people and 77 people with the raid. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, y'all. Once again, hang out for the raid. It'll be a great time. We'll see you on Wednesday. And you guys know the drill. See you soon. Peace out.